Woo! Friends, what's up? Welcome, it's Friday. Yeah, that's right. Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome in, folks. Good to see you. I am happy to introduce you to the new me. Wait, my lights aren't even on. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are, we're looking good today, aren't we? So the camera, funny story, that we have that hasn't been working too great lately, it's gone. It's done. I don't know what's going on with it. I've been trying to troubleshoot it, figure it out, work with it. We've been talking to the company. We've done some of the things that they told us to do, and it didn't turn on today. So we're officially past the point of good footage on this channel. So I have officially made a goal. Hold on a second. I want this to be, what, 15? There we go. All right. Shailisha! Hey, thank you for the 5 subs, dude. Getting us started off the Toes Gang. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Needs to ripen a little bit more. Let's see if we can't, like, change maybe the properties of this camera. It's particularly bad. Hold on. Let's see. Maybe we can turn the contrast down. Saturation. Okay, there we go. Yeah. That looks a little bit better, right? Yeah, that looks better. It's not horrible. So I've put a goal up at the top of the screen here because, well, from what I've seen, the community has not been happy with our camera either. So we could use some help in getting a better long-term solution, because I want to try and get something that's not going to break, not going to, run out of use over time. I'll just put that, there we go. Something that's not like what we have now. Because Jesus Christ almighty, it's not looking good. Nasty Master, thank you as well for the prime sub. Going on the Toes Gang. How y'all doing today, by the way? Sorry to distract from the real story at hand. It's Friday! Everyone get fucked up. It's Friday. Yeah, Shy, thank you so much for supporting the stream, dude. I appreciate you on the Toes Gang. And I hope you're having a lovely day and a good weekend. All right. Where were we? What are we getting into? Tomato voice coming from the future to the present. Don't tell me my sound is off too. Like, at least, can I at least... My sound... What? God. Fuck! I hate this shit. Alright, let me try and make the sound work too. Not gonna lie to you guys, it helps so much if you could just... I can't wait until I can just pay someone to do all of this and never have to try and make the tech work for me again. Alright, am I better? Is my timing better? Is anything working? To be quite honest, my camera doesn't work, my mic doesn't work, Star Citizen's not working. I'm about to shut the stream down. What's the point, huh? Except for, you guys. You guys are pretty dope, not gonna lie. I appreciate you being here. You are here. We're in sync now? Okay, so I just got rid of the delay that I had to have for the previous camera. We'll probably have to add it back if that camera ever starts working again. You rock. Looking like my screen is misaligned. There we go. I don't know what the hell's going on. Everything is off. Opies, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Yes, I saw the band backer. We'll get to that, guys. We got a lot of news to talk about today. Well, kinda, sorta. I saw somebody else asking about it. We'll get to that. Music is too loud. All right. Music's turned down. Thank you for letting me know. I need your guys' help. I can't hear anything anymore because we changed our headphones. Just all over the place right now. It's a disaster. Are we really worth it, though? As long as nobody keeps telling me over and over again that my voice is out of sync, then yeah, it's all good. I think the funniest thing is like all of the comments on my videos. Well, a lot of the comments on my videos were like, "Dude, your camera," and I'm wondering if now that I'm using a camera that's up to speed but has lower quality, if that's better or worse. Somebody asked if I had a mustache before. I did. Yes. About 2 weeks ago, the chat got all of the hair shaved off my face. So I'm slowly growing it back, dealing with the stupid bald chin. I mean, it's nice to have a lower quality camera. You guys can't see my bald chin. Huh? USB camera. Maybe switch to a cartoon avatar as opposed to live cam. That would require commissioning a cartoon avatar. What is on the menu for you guys? What are you drinking today? I got my tea, as always. Can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong without it. What's your caffeine drink of the day, guys? Are you coffee? Are you tea? Are you beer? Voice has a good tone. That is good. That is good. Xprat, hello. Good to see you in chat. Awesome that chat tells you the issues. Saw one dude stream with videos on mute and no one told him for 2 hours? What the? Actually, not gonna lie, we've definitely had something where I think something was happening for like a good 30 minutes before anybody told me. But no, chat's pretty good at telling me when things are off. Got a mocha, we got tea and water, we got vodka in the coffee. Is that a good combo? I feel like at least Bailey's maybe or Kahlua would be better. Coffee, Monster, no sugar. Wow. Ah, you take it bitter, huh? Shailisha with the coffee. Soda Pop with the iced coffee. Where's your soda? Coffee on an arterial drip. Very good. Water and lemon. Hell yeah. That's nice, bro. Can we get a shout out for Expat in the chat? He was just head and hands. That kind of, yeah. Chat was trolling this guy. Like, what is chat even listening to if the sound's not coming through? You don't drink soda anymore. Well, I understand if you don't drink soda. What about soda? You're drinking your wife's Truly since you're out of IPA. Wow, you just finished it up and moved on, huh? Very good. Waiting for SGF just in case there are any surprise announcements. Possible surprise announcements. Well, we've got a little bit of news. I know I said a lot of news earlier. We got some drama, as y'all have heard. There was a post on Reddit that actually this made it to the front page of Reddit. It's got 6,000 upvotes, so you got a lot of people coming in from outside of the Star Citizen community, chiming in on this, you know, reading about it, getting into the drama. Every once in a while, Star Citizen's drama will leak out to the wider gaming sphere. This is one of the, not as great moments for it to do so. This guy is claiming he's a 5K backer and got banned for reporting a bug, so we'll get around to that. There's obviously plenty of caveats. There's, what's it called? Context and background lore, I'm sure, to get into. But also, we've got the maintenance update, which is currently going on. So we can't actually get into the game. RSI status has us in maintenance mode with live service unresolved. I think this is planned on going until like 2.5 more hours is the plan. Might go longer than that. Ultimately, though, what I wanted to do today was take a little deep dive back into history into one of the more important Star Citizen lives we've had in the last year.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live Tech Talk with Benoit Beauséjour.
We are going to listen to the last talk. It's a long talk We're going to probably jump around it to the questions that are of most interest to us and talk a little bit about what CIG has said this year about stability, about what they're trying to do with the game, and whether or not they are pushing to just get like things shipped into the game, or if they want to keep it in a certain state for players. I figure we do a little review, you know, because like, what exactly is going on and how close is it to what CIG told us was going to happen this year? Are we going to do an SGF watch stream? That's today, isn't it? But that's like late today. Summer Games Fest. Maybe I'll jump into Discord and we can do a little watch party together as a community. I don't know if I'm going to stream it though. Starts in 4.5 hours. If I was going to stream it, it would be to catch anything coming up. I mean, there's going to be this is going to have the Gears of War reveal. It's going to have the what else would be here? I wouldn't be surprised if they showed something for Fable here. Maybe just a teaser. Maybe. But is there a PC section?
Thank you very much.
Sign up to co-stream. What does that mean? Oh, geez. Okay, so it's starting at 2 p.m. today. I got stuff to do, you know? I don't know if I want to put a whole... There's going to be like 5 hours towards this. Sure Nye! With the 5 subs. Toes Gang, dude. The SH names are lighting it up today. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the Toes Gang. Thanks for supporting the stream. If you guys want to help towards... Oh! Hey! Somebody already put towards the camera. I didn't even tell you how to do it. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know who that is, but somebody just put $100 towards our camera. So I've got the goal up there. If you want to help us reach that goal, you can type an ! camera in Twitch. And our hope is to unlock a new camera in the next couple of weeks and get ourselves to have a normal visual situation. God, OBS bot, why you do this? All right, I don't know if I'm gonna do this for sure. I don't think I don't think I'm gonna do this. Maybe Gamescom. I think Gamescom would make more sense. Oh, Gamescom is definitely not going to work. I'm going to be busy at that time. But maybe we'll do something in the Discord. We'll just watch it together. Indie section, you think? Some new Fable content would be lovely. Really curious to see what they do with it. Yeah, Fable is one of the best. I can't wait to see how they've done that. Oh, it was Nasty Master who put in that tip. Thank you, man. Much love to you, brother. I appreciate you. Admit to selling duped items and games in the comments. Interesting, interesting. Was the IC report posted soon after the testing or after the ban? Yeah, there's plenty of hearsay there, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to cover it, because it's very unknown. I don't want to start, you know, a witch hunt any sort of way. Most of the Xbox stuff will be on Sunday. Is that true? That's nice. Yeah, that's true, because it's a what, 3-day event? I think, maybe. I don't know. Do you have to sign up to stream it, or else you'll get like copyright stricketh? Ah, man. All right, maybe I should, just in case. Are they gonna like hold my feet to the fire if I do sign up for it and don't actually stream it? Is that baiting? So this would be June 8th. This would be Sunday. What's going on tomorrow? Let's see. Green Games, Rich Story, 10 a.m., June 6th. So this would be right around when we're streaming. Partner showcase. World premieres and more surprises from the latest. Uplifting, joyful, and hopeful games. That sounds like Star Citizen, right? Squadron 42 would probably fit into that category quite well. Like, I can see it. It's like Mark Hamill back here, hanging out behind the tree with a gun. And then tomorrow, so state of play would be, oh, I see, okay. Yeah, that happened a couple days ago, cool. So this is all already kind of going on. PC gaming show, here we are. This is what we would be looking for, folks. And this occurs on June 7th. So that's on the Sunday at 12 p.m. PT. Yeah, we might as well do like a little group sesh while we watch this. Main event or bust. The freaking Xbox show. Dude, oh my god, guys, imagine Squadron 42. Imagine Microsoft comes out and their one last thing, just one more thing, and they freaking reveal Squadron 42. Mark Hamill comes on stage. The Project Helix will be launching with Squadron 42 as a launch title. Oh, sorry, I might be drunk. That would be crazy. Yeah, we're waiting for server maintenance to be done. But you know how it is, dude. It's a Space Tomato stream. We spend half our time talking and nerding out anyways. Maintenance window is still going. Let's talk about this. Yeah? All right. Space nerds. I don't want to start rumors or start witch hunts or anything like that. I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I just want to let you know what kind of news is going on, just in case you've heard about it and you want to get the catch up. I don't have all the details or all the, you know, little bits of context. But a poster made a post to the Star Citizen subreddit here about being banned after reporting a bug. It's got 6,000 upvotes. It's made it to the front page. You got folks coming in from all corners of the nets, the webs, the whatever you want to call it, to, you know, talk about like what's going on here. And I'll just read out his post just so that like you have the context, and then we'll talk about, I guess there are additional comments of context to go over. So he said, I'm a long-term backer who has pledged $5,000. His name is PB207, by the way. Cheers. Some of you might know me from the first NPC Idris heist. In patch 4.8, I found a duplication bug and reported it properly through the issue council. To test it, I duplicated 2 already broken components. Posted the issue council post. CIG permanently banned my account without any warning or explanation. I sent a detailed appeal. The reply was a copy-pasted template. They never read a word I wrote. The ban is final and not subject to appeal. This is an alpha. They told us to find and report bugs. I did exactly that, and they destroyed a $5,000 account over it with 0 evidence and 0 real investigation. This is how they treat long-term supporters. Nobody's account is safe. The ship you buy today can turn to dust tomorrow simply because you encountered a bug and CIG decided you were cheating. I'm posting here because I'm out of options. If you encountered a bug, this could be you. Just one little correction there. Your ships don't turn to dust, they turn to space dust. Thought we should clarify that. Not to make light of the situation though, this could be so many different things, and I'm not going to try and tell you whether or not he's telling the truth, but I do think that if we look at the posts here, he screenshotted the issue council post, he put an email basically to appeal his suspension that happened because of the issue council post, and the CIG replied with, let's see, this action was taken following our investigation was confirmed conduct in violation of the RSI terms of service. Your account activity was found to be in breach of Section 4 of our Terms of Service and Section 1 of the game EULA, which prohibit the use of unauthorized software cheats, exploits, and any actions intended to gain an unfair advantage or interfere with the game experience for others. Pretty typical email. I think that in these situations, honestly, the probably the biggest issue is just not having the clearest, here's what you did and here's why this is happening. because then you give people the ammunition to be able to screenshot it and go and post it and make a story of what's going on. I don't know the story here, but let's go ahead and check out what he is replying to people in the comments. So, oh my God, there's so many comments. Let's see. How do you know your ban was for this exact in-game bug? They listed a dozen reasons your account could have been banned. Couldn't also be your PC getting a false flag for banned or hardware software. Sorry, banned hardware or software running on your machine. This is a reply, by the way, from Superman King. Most companies generally do not permit ban for in-game exploits and only issue temporary bans. Permit bans usually come from anti-cheat detected flagged software or hardware running on your machine. Not accusing you, as false flags can happen, but you also don't have enough evidence as to why you were banned in the first place. That's probably the biggest thing that's going to come from all this is everybody, this is just, I understand why he did it because he needs to put a spotlight on it. Like if you have problems, genuinely, me having problems with the camera, we tried to work with the company, and then at one point I was just like, okay, I'm going to talk about it on stream. I don't know if that makes any difference. It's not like they watch the stream or care about it. But when you start running out of options, you just try to get more eyes on a problem because hopefully somebody will have a solution. So I get why he did it, but also everybody's just going to fill in the blanks here themselves. He responded to this saying, this is also a possibility, but I never received an explanation from CIG, so I cannot know the reason for my ban. I can only speculate that CIG used automated scripts to detect players who triggered the duplication bug and automatically banned them. I think he's mistaking the tool that they use to award players with Odins. Launch legal action. Ooh. I mean, that would be probably the next step if this didn't work, because this is obviously a much lower cost type of move to make. Can you DM a screenshot from someone explaining what he was banned for according to the section that was flagged? Sure. Is it in the comments here? I'm not ignoring YouTube comments. What the heck? Why do y'all accuse me of the most weird stuff? Just assume that I'm not getting to read everything, please. As of right now, I'm trying to get all the information out to you guys. I'm going to start reading comments when I can, but please be a little bit patient. Thank you. Let me see if, oops. Let me see if there we go. All right, this is the comment he sent over. So the violations mentioned were Section 4 and Section 1, EULA, Rules of Conduct. These cover activities like using third-party exploits, bots, and software, player abuse or harassment, hacking, doxing, selling game items for real money, account selling, unauthorized monetization. So basically, OP didn't get banned for reporting a bug. He got banned for other reasons, not disclosed in the post that only he knows. So that's one person's, look into it and sent the links to for it. Credit to Tekna for finding the comment. So ultimately, that's what comes from a comment or a situation like this is like, there's not, we can't say what's right or wrong or what the heck is or is not happening or who is right or wrong. He's putting a spotlight on it so that CIG has some pressure to speak about it publicly, because people are going to be like, what the heck are you doing, CIG? Whether or not he deserves to get the account back or not, I'm not going to say. I hope that this does get at least some kind of conversation happening between him and CIG if it needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, though, yeah, legal action makes the most sense, I would say. But I don't have much else to say about this, to be honest. start ignoring YouTube comments. Huge gray market seller. Is that in this post? Again, even if saying somebody's a gray market seller, you would have to do a lot of due diligence to connect accounts, connect identities, prove all the things. I'm not going to make any sort of a statement one way or another. I might not even post this as a video because I don't really want to, I don't know. We'll have to see how we can edit it to make sure it doesn't look at least like we're just trying to drum up drama. I was generally trying to explain this news to you, but I don't feel like there's that much to explain. I think this is generally something that CIG and this person needs to figure out on their own, and we're all audience to it now. So that's about that. Let's get to some actual news. Uncle Chair sends you updates. You have a whole uncle who's a chair? It was on his profile? Like his Reddit profile? That's not a good. More likely than banning him for reporting an exploit or doing an exploit a few times in game. Yeah. Yeah, it would be weird if they were banning people for reporting stuff, but, you know, obviously, if they are, that's not good. Doesn't seem out of character for CIG. A lot of people were advertising that 4.8 patch and the insurance system didn't prevent the duping. I don't know. I don't see CIG banning people for reporting bugs too much. Yo, wait. Wait. Maverick, did you tip towards the camera, dude? 160. All the 69s from Maverick, man. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You did exploits with copying guns and such last year. You didn't get banned or anything. Ban this man, CIG. Take him out of the game. He's the problem. You remember when someone exposed Bungie like this, then Bungie dropped the receipts and the internet moved on? We're very good at moving on. Oh, is there a giveaway command up? No. Okay. Yeah, we don't have an active giveaway going on. The maintenance, by the way, somebody asked, I just saw, supposed to go 6 hours from 12 UTC. So probably another 2 hours from now or so. 2.5 hours until the game's back up. We'll see. It should be back up by the time we're done with this big boy. This is going to be a lot. Banning someone for using exploits is crazy. I mean, if they're using exploits that are already reported, then that's kind of, I say that's you know, go ahead and time them out at least. An hour? Oh, okay. Little shorter than I thought. All right, let's listen to this. So this is, well, I'm gonna let them explain it actually.
I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and
just a little bit of context. This is the CTO, Benoit, talking to Jared Huckabee, who does a lot of the community outreach, back in February. So fairly relevant to the state of the game right now.
Live Tech Talk with Benoit Beauséjour. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, lucky you. No, it's where we take usually about an hour out of our week and we chat with developers on these special shows that we do with our good friend, Chief Technology Officer and all-around swell guy, Benoit Beauséjour. We usually take a bit longer. Last time we took 3 hours. The first time, the time before that, it was close to 3 hours. It was maybe 2.5 hours. Yeah. This time we're clocking in at about 2 hours because we have meetings that we have to go to at about 2 hours. So, yeah. I'm running out of gas. What else do I do in the intro? Oh, I got to introduce the person. So, I've mentioned this person in Benoit Beauséjour a few times. So let's go ahead and meet Benoit Beauséjour. Benoit,
Hi.
hi.
I have to say, I'm impressed with your pronunciation.
It's been like 12 years now.
No, but it
11 years.
keeps getting better. Every time it's better.
Well, I practice privately.
There you go. I know. Thank you, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
So I'm Benoit Beauséjour. You want me to say it again or no? Okay, good.
No.
I am the Chief Technology Officer at CIG. So I guess the best way to describe it is if it has a computer chip in it, I'm kind of involved in a way. So I run the engineering teams, Star Engine group, and I meddle with all areas of the game, trying to get us forward to our 1.0 release.
Metal's a good word.
Yeah.
My blood sugar is weird or something. I can't see with my glasses. I'm seeing better without my glasses, so we're going to take off my glasses. Although I'm going to have to do the show like this. Now I can't see everything else, but I can see this. This is important. All right, so on these shows, on these special Tech Talk shows and everything, we are going to cover a variety of topics. So these topics have all been discussed ahead of time. We worked out. Benoit, as involved as he is with so many aspects of the game, still needs to be afforded the opportunity to check in with other directors and get updates on what they're doing and everything, so that we can provide you the most up-to-date and accurate information. So this will be a show that's less about taking questions from the chat or from the community, and more about just a very candid conversation about the current state of the game, the development, where we've been, where we are, where we're going, that stuff like that. So I've divided the show up at this point into sort of three things. I'd switch teams for Benoit.
Must be a Star Atlas fan. All right, let's jump to let's see. Actually, this sounds like a good, interesting
every
start.
patch this year will expand Nix even more. It's the one in March is looking to expand a bunch of the service stations and our first big content drop, which I'll go ahead and say right now is supposed to be Rock Cracker. If you watched what was it called, Citizen on Direct?
Yeah.
Which,
Me and Nick.
if you guys want to join, I think I'm going to do like a Rock Cracker speed run marathon tomorrow on stream. Just going to try and get a group of folks together and run as many Rock Crackers as we can in like 3 hours and see what kind of cool loot we can get.
Games. You can learn more about that, but we're currently working towards that as our March release, and then on, just continuing to build out Nix until I think in the Road to 1.0 presentation at CitizenCon 2 years ago, now, a year and a half ago, Rich Tywer acknowledged that Castra would be our next system whenever that comes online. So it's just this technology.
What does that mean? It's unlocked the capabilities to do what
we can actually start to deliver so many of these things that we've been talking about and working on behind the scenes. Instancing has some role in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. There's one more thing that server meshing brought us that's not negligible, is a very substantial gain of performance on the game servers in general. So like 324 game servers were running, we had a very low bar for acceptance on FPS for game servers because we just had to deal with so much. Nowadays, like server FPS is magnitudes higher. So that
what's not doing great though is the desync. And I think it might have been maybe a month, possibly half a month after this, that Jared was on the show. You guys probably remember he called Benoit live and was like, "Hey, we want you to do a post on Spectrum explaining what's going on with the desync." Put him on the spot, It's like, all right, CTO, all right. Maybe they're trying to really go all out with the communication. We haven't seen it yet. I know he's a busy man, so I'm not going to blame him too much for that. Jared did put him on the spot without him electing for it. But man, I hope we do get something about that soon. Toronto, thank you so much for the private sub on Twitch, by the way.
Actually allowed some of the content we've already produced actually shine because it was working properly. And so that's because servers have less to simulate. We can optimize their workload. We've also reduced we've talked about this before, but we've reduced the size of the game servers because they just have to simulate one area. And so overall, we're trying to meshing has improved server performance by big magnitudes.
Yes, Chet, no, my head is not smaller. My hair is just bigger. It was very windy and rainy today, and it's just whatever. No, I haven't had a dye job. It's greater than it's ever
Let's
been.
talk about this.
Meshing.
This
We
is a
know
very
that
interesting one because this is related pretty closely to instancing. He'll probably talk a lot about how this works with instancing in here somewhere, I hope.
Next big stage of server meshing is dynamic. What can you tell us, if anything, about that?
Well, so the dynamism in the mesh,
Dynamism?
right? Dynamism, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running out of words internally to define what the next step of server meshing is. Currently, we're working on quasi-dynamic server meshing, which is we're trying to iterate on the static mesh, right, to bring it so that if an area is empty, right, and nobody's there, we can spin down a server. And if people go to that area, we can spin up a server. To achieve all this, all of the mechanics required for a full dynamic mesh need to be there. So like mass authority transfer between servers, because when a server goes out and it has X amount of entities that it currently has authority over,
to give all those
it needs to
entities
give that to another one. And that, obviously, you don't want that process to lock up the parent server. So that whole mechanism is what we're working on at the moment. In fact, we've done over the break, the team has actually reached a milestone. We were able to run with our internal testers a test of quasi-dynamic server meshing internally. So that's good. I mean, it's the first test, so, it's a bit rough, but it basically requested, I think, 200 servers to run the mesh. That was a little bit of a but yeah, our ops teams, Ahmed specifically, got a call from Ahmed immediately. But anyway,
So wait, you've been calling it quasi-dynamic, and I've been trying to workshop a new name for you, and I've just got just a little bit of dynamism. But so you did your first test of this quasi-dynamic, like, hey, server, you try to determine how much you need, and the first thing it did was ask for 200 more servers?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah. A little bug in the assignment system, but
that sounds like human nature.
Correct. So that's what we're working on right now. That's the next step towards the full dynamic mesh, right? Obviously, the goal with the dynamic mesh, just to recap it, is that instead of having a subdivision that we pre-make in advance, like currently, every patch we look at the territory assignment, is what we call it, of like what's coming, like, oh, we have an event at this place, and most players are going to go to this system, and so we adjust the mesh, right? And sometimes we get it wrong, and it's a very manually intensive process, and we don't want to keep doing that. So the goal with the dynamic mesh is to be able to just adapt to where the players are, the cost of the location they're in, to be able to provision compute dynamically up and down. So there's also the unfortunate cost equation in this, right? The current static mesh will always provision a server for every territory that's configured, and so there's a little bit of savings we can go and get there. But more importantly, the dynamic.
This is the really important part. This is the part that nobody else has really done in a game, from what I understand. All right, maybe I'm wrong. I've tried to really find another game that has done this. Every time somebody says it does, though, I look into it. And generally, the idea of passing authority between servers that can resize, destroy, and create themselves in a tree structure simply hasn't been done before. Is it going to work? I don't know, but it's a pretty insane thing that they're doing. I have a good podcast episode back in February. It was after this episode came out with Grolo, who does actually understand a little bit more of how this works and is able to speak more towards it. And from what he says, it is certainly a very interesting technology they're working on. Who knows how far it takes them, though. Dan Buckle, thank you so much for asking in chat, man. If you use !camera, any little bit helps towards it. Thank you. Is this an old SCL? Yes, this is a February episode. He just likes to wear the same clothes onto every episode he's on. Meanwhile, they're banning Foxy and GEM for complaining. Foxy got banned. That's a big, there's some big words you're throwing around there. Rockstar has a patent around it already, but it's kind of a different system. Yeah, Rockstar is working on server switching, but their patent didn't come until after CIG had already... No. They signed for their patent, I think, in 22 or 23. But I don't think it's dynamic. Rockstar's patent is for switching between servers that are static and split up the map. They're talking about switching between servers that are nested within each other. Foxy was locked out due to a bug, not banned. Wow, that's crazy. Somebody came into chat and said something completely off. The Rockstar one, I do not know if I'll be able to pull it up because I always forget what the name of it is. Seamless Session Management. I think that's it. And this is a patent that they're working on for GTA 6 Online. It is the same thing as static server meshing from what I've seen. It's like the same thing that's running currently in 4.8, which is, I think, is cool. It's nice to see multiple companies like this working on this kind of stuff. I think it's also, who else? Epic, I believe, is working on something like this too for probably for UE6. So it's starting to pick up, and like Panic Switched once said, maybe it'll be like the loading screens of newer games. EVE Online might be the closest game that comes close to how their server tech works. Don't know how EVE does theirs. If they keep a certain
when we have the
appeal
launch
day of
release
practice.
date, you will be the first to know.
Yeah, the whole release date. Dirty Gravy, thank you so much for the sub on Twitch, man. I appreciate you. They attract a certain type of consumer. If they are all over the place, like when Jared said, we not going to do free flights, it's morally irresponsible, and 2 days later, just go for it without any change, they come across as having a personality crisis. Yeah, but we're talking about the idea of stopping exploits or not. I'm saying... like, if somebody's going to keep using the exploit to break your game, to break the economy, to go outside the bounds of how interactions between players can be happening, that's ruining the ability for people to test how the game should work. It's ruining the data that CIG gets that makes the game work better in the future. It ruins the other people's play sessions who are getting affected in ways that they just don't expect in the game. I don't see any benefit from letting somebody just continue to run wild with exploits in the game. Like, why not ban them? I don't know. I don't think exploits should be like, don't ban someone for reporting it, but why would you not get rid of people who are constantly using exploits and breaking the game essentially? Hello, Maverick Actual. How you doing? Dan freaking Buckle. Bro. Oh, dude, Mr. Dan. You know what? You guys are going on Toast Gang for this. Maverick. With the 169. 69. And Dan Buckle. Thank you guys. Shailisha with the 102. You guys are amazing. We're like almost halfway to getting a new camera already. They haven't implemented an economy yet. Brother, come on. Like, prices change things. It doesn't matter if there's no economy. If somebody can say, hey, I'm gonna sell you this much stuff for this much money, and then somebody finds out, oh, if I just exploit the game and get that stuff, I can get that much money. That doesn't matter if there's no economy. It still changes how people treat the game. Changes how the game works. Everybody and their moms were asking for a wipe because the economy was out of whack. I mean, imagine being like, oh no, CIG shouldn't take care of that. Just let it run. People should be encouraged to try and exploit. That's kind of the point of an alpha. Maybe if we were, look, there's a difference between finding, and this is not talking about the thing we were talking about earlier. This is a principle discussion. There's a difference between finding something and reporting it and like running with something for months and using it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we are in a bad place if every person in the game is free to do whatever they want and CIG is expected to not do anything against that. It's just gonna, like, I don't understand how a society is supposed to work like that. Mr. Dirty Gravy. Prime sub, dude. Wait, what? How did that work? Do I think exploits unethically will continue without recourse or consequence through an into 1.0? No. Exploits are pretty problematic. Wipe was the smartest thing they did. Dude, I've been having a blast working my way back up. Made it tough to fund the org, but it's fun to like figure out how to make more money again. Anyone who exploits an alpha site should be instantly banned, no special treatment or anything, as it ruins the whole point in trying to make a playable game for the future. It's kind of like the whole argument that CIG should be changing fundamental features to avoid the problems we get from bugs right now. Like one of the big ones, PvE servers. I'm not saying that PvE servers aren't a good idea. Maybe not for Star Citizen, but like in terms of games, it's great to be able to have a choice of not running into players. I agree with that. But I also think that maybe we should give the game a chance to have actual security before we make the final call, you know? Do something to keep people safe now, but imagine they just made all the decisions about player safety before there was working security in the game. And then they bring in working security and it's like, well, now the security's kind of pointless, isn't it? Again, nobody's here. Forced so much of the org to help complete missions, you get all that good. Yeah, all the good stuff. ED had an exploit for over a year. People abused it and no one got blocked. They just reverted the exploiter's progress and then fixed it. But like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to draw any parallels between an exploiter and somebody who maybe is doing like tax evasion. But if you found people who were doing a bunch of tax evasion, I think the answer is not to just get them to pay the taxes they evaded. Because then that just tells them that, oh, you're good. You can keep evading taxes. You just got to pay it back later. You kind of got to get in trouble for doing something wrong. Again, not as bad as exploiting in a video game, but I feel like the psychology kind of works the same. Anyways, that's a side tangent. I appreciate the conversation though. Let's get back to talking about playability. How did the year of playability go? That's a fun question.
I want to talk a little bit more about what we did gain last year. So it's whether that's the transit system stuff, the 30Ks finally being killed, the creatures and boss fights and stuff. When you tell me, how did our year of playability go in your head?
Well, so I think that, obviously coming from the server meshing improvements, there was also some failings at the beginning of the year where we saw, transit became a very big problem. That's an example of a
Only
system.
because we tried to use it.
Yeah, or tried to serve you, but badly. But that's an example of a system that was built years ago that wasn't properly scaled over time. And so when you added dynamic gateways for the transit system plus the meshing situation, that became a so really problematic system.
Dude,
and
the
so
freaking trains.
That was, I think,
you guys remember riding the Microtech trains into space like every day for a week? That was crazy. Oh my God. I hope that we have nice nostalgic periods of all these moments in the future and the game actually works, because if it never works, it's all going to be so much more. There's not going to be any sort of hindsight.
This is your captain speaking. Tomato will be with you shortly.
Beautiful name, bro. Thank you so much for the compliment. Appreciate you. We cut all my hair off, so now it gets to grow back a little bit. It looks better when it's short. I do agree. Super Mac with the raid, though. Hello, friends. Welcome in, good folks. Green Eggs, thank you so much for the 20 towards the camera. We're going to get there, my friends. We're going to have nice, squeaky clean cheeks on the camera soon. Not these cheeks, the face cheeks. No, don't get there. Thank you so much for giving the shout out over to my man. What were you guys doing today? I want to say, were you frontier living? But the frontier is currently offline. So what's been going on? You guys been chatting, catching up on news? Face cheeks, guys. Come on. The year of playability was great except for a few big hitches like the freight elevator event fiasco. That sucked. It got spoiled and now we are not coping with the year of cramming in new stuff. Yeah, it's funny though, because like at the end of the year of playability, people were like, no, even watching this show, people were like, there was no playability. What are you talking? You guys didn't even try. And then now CIG was like, you know what? You know what? We're just gonna make it worse. We're gonna make you love our broken shitty 4.0. Or you know, maybe it's all not expected. The pool streams allegations, the hot tub stream. You guys remember the tomato hot tub stream? Chatting about ejection seats and escape pods. Hell yeah. Sandman, good to see you, dude. How have you been? Toes. How's life treating you? And only toes? Yeah, boy. You boys want to come see a tomato get juiced? I'm gonna get kicked off Twitch.
First order of business once we launched 4.0 was like, we need to really take action on transit. And so we talked about this last year, but we did create the Transit Heroes group, which was a coalition of volunteers. Well, they got volunteered. Voluntold, yes, exactly. To come and give a bit of oversight on this, to look at the system to see, okay, what do we need to actually, have stable elevators and trains and, make sure that that's always available. Because the traversal of the game, if that doesn't work, then the game doesn't work at all, right? If you can't take an elevator to get out of the habs, then,
you've got 20.
good luck, right? So the Transit Heroes team, I think, has done a fantastic job. They haven't re-engineered the system in that strike team, but they really focused on self-healing strategies, right? If a manager loses a carriage for some reason, for any reason, well, just create another one and get this thing rolling, right? Now, they couldn't fix, in this effort, they couldn't rebuild the system. There was fundamental flaws in how it was engineered for server meshing support. And so, but at least they got it into working condition. So I do think, like, if you look at the game now, transit is no longer the big problem it used to be, right? Like, it actually functions when you need it.
Everything else
that said,
most times
it fixes itself, right? So it's still getting in a weird state, but it
how much
fixes
do you guys
itself.
notice those being problems? Elevators, trams, that kind of stuff. Does that stick out to you? Because one of the things they did add the last update was the transportation system, which is ultimately the fix to this whole problem with freight elevators and all this stuff. They only added it, though, in Grimhex. Now, I have not seen a single issue in Grimhex when it comes to any of these things. I would love to hear from chat what you guys have seen, because I think they might have actually... I mean, it's definitely an improvement. God, it feels like it's too much to hope that it actually makes it work, though. Just like work and not have problems. Mostly cargo elevators on planets and moons. Right, yeah. I've heard that cargo hauling has really hurt because of freight elevators on planets and moons. New Babbage trams have been brutal. Uh-oh. Generally, trams and station elevators fine. Ship elevators still borked. Had stuff disappear from your freight elevator. Very good, very good. You don't go to Grim Hex, you're a law-abiding citizen. Yeah, not like me though. I'm out here. I've spent half my time in the last week at Grim Hex. Toes. What does the word fix mean in SC? Just means marking it off the issue council till it comes back up, you know. Kick that can. Bro Kanu, thank you for the sub on Prime, man. Appreciate you on Twitch. 2 months on the best Team Purple there is. Can't think of any other Team Purple except for like Barney. Is Barney still a thing? Barney kind of scared me, not gonna lie. He's like friendly, but also it felt like he had that side of him that you wouldn't want to really. Barney is like, if I had to imagine a monster in the back rooms, it would probably look like Barney to an extent. Woo. 318 was your last visit to Grim. Don't have a reason to go there. So yeah, problem solved. You've died a couple times in Lorville on the tram in the last couple weeks. Okay, cool. So freight elevators and trams, it looks like, are not doing well. There's nothing wrong with the elevator on Grim. There shouldn't be. That is the hope. I'm not seeing anybody saying that there have been problems with Grim Hex, though. Barney had a gangster side. Barney was not ready to stick around for the problem children. That's why Barney's show was so successful. He eliminated those who were problems. Put a smile on for all the good ones. You've been going to Grim for years and you still occasionally get lost trying to open the hangars. That is a problem I can corroborate. Yeah, I'm not seeing any Grim problems. I'm really, really hoping that stays consistent. If they've fixed it with the transport system, this would be an incredibly big improvement to Star Citizen. Like that. But there's nothing about it in 4.9. So they might need a little bit longer to get it working widely. And it only works in just a small area of the game so far. Don't know. Hopefully they update us soon.
You know, we've done more about this, and we'll talk about it later.
We're building the transport system.
Correct.
Concurrently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So while this team is repairing the transit system, we're building a new bespoke transport system.
Right. So
wait.
transport.
Wait, transport does not fix freight elevators. Why do you say that? Are they still having problems in Grim? You thought Grim was bugged, and you realized you were just trying to land on the land on the ceiling, bro. McClinkton, I think you might have been bugged, man. How did you manage to try and land on the ceiling? Don't they have like signs and stuff? Hello, Akash. How you doing today? Good to see you. Welcome in. One of my good friends' son's name is Atash. Reminds me of them. The Microtech monorail took you to Port Tressler once. That's the fast pass. You got to pay Disney extra for that, but they'll take you all the way. They'll make it happen.
Is basically the fix for this, like the real fix.
Let's get to transport when we talk about what's fun.
Yeah.
So what else did we get last year?
Wait.
Well,
Okay.
I got a.
Okay. In that case, let's jump to transport. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's jump to the part where they talk about this.
Of somebody, just going to town with their whole C, and they went through a jump point, and it took them trying to go to one system, it kicked them back out to the next system, and the thing crashed. And then they got back in, and the spindles they tried to open the spindles, but the spindles were closed, or looked closed, but they were actually open. So they were in the wrong state. Tried to get refueled, tried to go to refuel. The refuel thing wasn't working, and then stowed the ship and spawned the ship, and it didn't come back on the docking port. It came back in their hangar full of cargo, and it's like this. It's like, we acknowledge that. I'm sitting here saying we acknowledge those things. But there was so many massive improvements last year. You used an analogy last time we did with this about I think it was the big freight container, the big giant Suez Canal shipping things, that you don't just turn the direction around, you don't just spin the wheel and suddenly you're facing a new direction. It takes time to move these things. And the efforts of
Thank you very much.
And the people under you, these strike teams, these hero teams as you call them, to turn this ship that we call the persistent universe around in the last year, has been phenomenal. If I'm allowed to have a personal opinion, being the shill for the company that I am, it's been phenomenal. We haven't gotten everything. Everything. We still got another year, we still got another year. The work continues.
Yeah.
But it's my show, and I wanted to take 5 minutes to acknowledge the tremendous work of those teams. And a whole lot was accomplished last year, in addition to the amazing content work. You know, I said 10 patches, and I realized we actually had 11 because we kicked engineering out.
Yeah.
We kicked engineering out in December, so it was actually 11 patches. You know, 11 patches in 12 months is pretty crazy. So you allow me to have a moment, to have some time to sit there and sing the praises of those people, because I've seen where we were, and I know where we are, and we're in a much better place now. Still
it's just
back
the beginning of the
still
term.
places to go.
Yes.
That scenario I just described was like last week, and we got still places to go.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean we don't acknowledge
Well, I think
progress.
it's
What I'm really
I think
waiting
it's a
for
testament to kind of
is
this
for them to talk about the tech preview in this.
systematic approach we've taken to solve some of these issues, instead of previously we used to just assign tickets to people and they would, find the fastest way to solve it. And now we're kind of work as a team with the teams in quality assurance that are basically the arbinger. Like, no, it's not fixed. I can still repro, right? And these guys have been going through a systematic approach for it. I think that's paid off a bit,
We get better.
Yeah.
Not always, but we try. And in this case, we've definitely gotten better. There were some big changes to internal infrastructure and stuff in the last year or two, and we're seeing the results of that stuff. All right. So now let's go into some specific updates here. So let's talk about the transport system. We don't need to talk about transit so much anymore. The transport system is what will one day replace this thing.
Fix everything.
I've heard talk
It's
about there
Jesus.
being a tech preview of it soon. Talk to me about the transport system.
Well, so transit was problematic, wasn't designed for server meshing. And so transport is a complete rebuild of the transit system, but using more server meshing native approaches for how different pieces are going to manage elements that are streamed out and streamed in. We're also moving away from some.
I think that's a bigger issue than they've probably let on. We've kind of noticed it just from watching them develop, but this idea, what did he say?
Server meshing native approaches for.
Yes, server and meshing native approaches is kind of like, for all this time, y'all remember it, the tools, right? The tools. They're working on this stuff long term that's supposed to run in the game. We had an inventory system. We had the transit system, the star map, the ATC system, oh man, there's a big one that I'm missing. The friends list, freaking voice chat. All of these things were built for Star Citizen 3.0, right? You guys remember that? 25 peoples per server. I think it was 25. Maybe it was 50 people per server. But it was such a small amount that nothing really needed to scale that much. So then as the game grew, they started to up the server counts, but it wasn't until server meshing hit that they finally were like, you know what, screw this. Let's bump it up to a much higher amount of people. All of those things that were working for that time just suck in the new version, right? The map was made to work in a single corner of space. And so you couldn't even search for stuff, because why would you want to search for something? It's all right there on the same screen. Or the inventory system was made for a game where there was no loot. There was no picking things up. Everything used the use key. So the inventory sucked. The same goes for like the transit system, ATC, the freaking friends list, all of it. It's just annoying that it's taken them so long to get to the next version of all those things. And when the next versions come, sometimes they still are broken. And that's been exhausting. But this whole idea of getting the systems updated to something that works natively with server meshing has been a drag, because it was supposed to be stuff. If you go back to the roadmap roundup, man, I don't even know which one it would be. It might be this. Let's see. There's one big roadmap roundup. Yeah. So we had the mission system refactor and the transit system refactor were both added into the 4.0 roadmap in 2024, expected to be added at that time. And it just didn't happen. Like, we're still waiting for both of these. And I think that just goes to show how much trouble they've had in making these be actually server meshing native, like he's saying. And it's been part of why this period after server meshing has been like kind of good. We've seen some improvements, but it's been a little slow still. Remember pre-OCS and playing at 15 FPS tops? Yeah, dude. For like 9 months straight, 3.0 was awful. No, Foxy did not get banned. Oh, Oreo the Grim. Thank you, or Oreo Thy Grim. Thanks for the membership on YouTube, dude. I appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Let's get back to it. Transportation.
How different pieces are going to manage elements that are streamed out and streamed in. We're also moving away from some previous misconceptions that were put into the transit system. For example, one of them was responsible for trains going into space. We don't want trains to go into space. So
You should.
yeah, well, I mean,
Like space trains.
unless we do a space elevator.
Astro train.
Yeah, Astro train would be great. So the
But it's got to look like a real locomotive.
state of transport, right? So at the end of last year.
So I'm going to pause. What's included in transport? So what? What are we talking about?
So
Elevators.
transit and transport manage elevators, in-ship elevators, trains, anything that has to move when you press a button and you call it. So
Okay.
it's a network of carriage, peripheral, and gateway.
Okay.
Right. So you take an elevator to go to your hangar. That's transit.
You take a tram.
You take a tram. That's
Anything that's automated. Anything that
Right.
moves you
Exactly.
not under your control.
Right. And he's the one moving the carriages, right? So he needs to deal with carriages being streamed out, like prediction for that stuff. So transport is a rebuild of the original transit, which has been, as we talked about, problematic. So the state on transport is at this point, we are, it's functional. So we've, the team at the end of last year actually completed the first transport link, which was we tested this internally with our QA teams extensively at this point. All of the new Babbage.
Hey, I can't see the notification because I scrolled too far past it in chat, but I did see that somebody did a tenner to the camera that we're working towards. Ferid, thank you so much. I do see you. I appreciate you. Thanks, guys, for helping us get this stream back on its feet.
Habs links.
Toes.
So we took
On its
one
toes.
link in the universe, that one, and we tested the crap out of it. Right now, that's a static link. So it's going this. When I say static, it means the 2 points that the elevator goes to exist.
Okay.
They always exist. So we know that works. Then the state at the moment is we also support hangars. So these are dynamic gateways, because if you're online and you're at the location, your hangar is spawned there. That's a dynamic gateway. If you leave, that gateway disappears. So the system needs to deal with dynamic gateways. The previous system
Didn't.
kinda did. And the kinda bit was the piece that wasn't great.
Okay.
And so we've got internally at the moment, new Babbage, we've got hangars and habs. So the state of transport now is the team is working at converting all of Area 18. So we're talking habs, hangars, transit trains, all of Area 18 to the transport system. So we're going to go to tech preview with that. That's our plan. And the reason why we need to go to tech preview is because we need players. We've tested this internally. We can't muster as much players as we want, so we're going to try to see if you guys want to come and help us out, test the new Babbage Transit for real on a tech preview to validate all the assumptions that are in the system.
So we're going to launch a tech preview and ask people to just come and ride the elevators.
Correct.
Come and ride the trams.
And their hangars.
And their hangars.
Yes.
And hope nobody dies.
No trains in space, no doors opening to nothingness.
Sounds like a good day in Star
You know,
Citizen.
that'd be great. No passing through the floors in the carriages.
The single most exciting tech preview we'll ever do. But incredibly important because
you know.
it's
The
a tech
last
preview
tech
that
preview
doesn't
they ever
just
did.
affect Area 18. It's
Yeah.
one that can literally affect quality of life in every single landing zone on board every single spaceship.
That has an
the
elevator.
ships that have elevators
Correct.
and stuff. Well, then space stations. It's going to be this little thing for Area 18, but it ripples out to everything.
And so after a tech preview, if everything is validated, there's one thing too we want to try to avoid is the train prediction taking like you in 32 seconds to come in, where the train says train arrives in 1,060,000, you know, which obviously we hope that.
I just thought it was a metaphor for the project.
The Nix, the Levski elevator
What does
never
this button
comes
do?
from the... That's what it does. It never arrives on time. I hate it. I hate the Levski elevator. It tricks me, it fools me, it makes me feel like a dunce, and I don't like it. But shout out to all you who helped with this tech preview. Thank you for your service. Was it actually successful? Excited to see what they have in store. If they really go and add something like ED's solo mode, SC will definitely become your mainstay game. We need staircases where elevators are the only option. Need to go to main floor from your... The problem is that the places, the parts of the space station, and this is an issue I think that really I did not expect to be a problem with Star Citizen, but they let it be, I guess. The space stations don't actually match what they are. Like when you look at a space station from the outside, you're not seeing the same space station people are actually walking around on the inside. You know, they connect through elevators in these weird ways, and I think they just really need to remake the space stations to make more sense. And you got to wait with naked bodies around you. Very haunted.
Am I allowed to say that?
At this point, you are.
All right. That was it. Excuse me. That was enough of the transportation system. Let's hear what they have to say about the freight elevators, which was actually the next thing.
Freight elevators and what still needs to happen.
Sure. So the freight elevators are way more complicated than we can imagine because they get affected by other systems like hangars, like planetary locations. There's also multiple flavors of them, top loading, side loading, and they all operate very differently. So this year, we've had issues at the beginning of the year clearly with the freight elevators, like losing items, obstruction, blocking them from functioning.
You said the beginning of the year, but that really came to a head in July.
Yeah. Where we had even an event that would rely on them, which was...
Where they made the event that, like that... I would love... Let's see what they say, actually.
You know, in retrospect,
yeah.
You know.
Well,
okay.
it's...
So that's what they say. In retrospect, it wasn't... Like, it's crazy that all the players can see this stuff coming. We saw, like, people were calling out the elevators coming in and how that would ruin the event. People are calling out 4.8 being bad and how that's going to be a bad time for a free fly. Who keeps shoving this stuff through?
We knew there was a collection of issues, but we also, all of our data said they were only
localized.
Localized on this. It wasn't until we went to scale.
That's right.
That we realized, oh, this is actually even worse than we thought.
Right. It's also coupled to a couple of things, and for that event specifically, which was, you know, we concentrated missions in key locations. That's one thing that has been in our discussions all year, was how we distribute missions. right? How we, if we launch a new mission tomorrow morning and we send everybody to the same spot, that is problematic. Not just because it's not fun, because it's a traffic jam, but also it causes other issues. And so we learned a lot from that on the design side, I think, overall. But so freight elevators, though, so we're pretty happy with some of the core mechanics, but there's still very egregious issues that we're tracking. So there's roughly 73 total issues that we know about. 51 of those have been resolved. So I've asked one of our teams in our Nathaniel Fisher, resident expert in freight elevators, to track that. So the rest of these issues some of them are really problematic. One of them we actually discussed, you and I, just before the show, was how if you're turning in Wicklow items, you need to put them one by one.
You have to be able to put things in a box. You have to be able to put things in a box.
Correct. And so
you have to be able to put things in a box and have it suck up that box.
Yes.
No, it's
I
not
agree,
a thing yet,
100%.
I don't think.
And so that's going to be one of the first ones I think we need to look at. The other one is a bit more problematic because we don't.
First ones. It's been 3 months. Can you put stuff in a box and turn it in yet? Come on, make my day. Make my day, chat. Happy birthday, by the way, to Avocado, the one and only, the ever-deserving birthday haver. We appreciate seeing you in the chat. Everybody, can we get a happy birthday for Avocado, please? Happy birthday to you. You should get a birthday song thing on here. This is kind of happy birthday, right? Happy birthday. No, but really, can you put stuff in boxes to turn in yet? Or no? So that's going to be exhausting if not. I don't think you can from what I've seen, and they really need to get that fixed. This is not from today, this is from February. So this is the kind of thing that I would be hoping we would be hearing about for something like 4.8 or 4.9, but I don't think we've seen anything about it yet. Still a thing, yeah, to have to turn it in all one. Oof.
I don't have a proper repro for, but sometimes there are lost items that fail if there's like a backend slowdown when things.
Wait, you used. It does work sometimes?
Wow.
All right. If it actually does work sometimes, that's great. You said you put stuff in a geo box to turn in? That's something that we need to start testing. I probably should start working Wicklow stuff soon. There was no core gameplay in the monthly report, Django, unfortunately. And I think you're onto something with the fact that they're not mentioning the freight elevators in the transport system. That's rough.
Get stowed. So we have a couple reports for this. Not many, but the ones that we have are critical. And so, this is a kind of a rule we've set on the CGP team. So Jens and I are pushing this to everybody. It's like the golden rule for everything related to freight elevators or anything that touches inventory is a player should never lose an item interacting with these systems, right? We need trust in them 100%. And so that's why we're tracing on those issues. So there's still a lot more work required on freight elevators for different edge cases. A new one that we started seeing in 4.6, which seems affected by another change, but is sometimes like putting stuff on the elevator, not on the grid, will cause it to disappear,
right?
Which is kind of a physics cleanup conflict. So I know we're looking into this right now because that's a big one. But and then everything that has to do with stacking. So having a stack in your inventory that you want to unstow onto the freight elevator, that mechanism from a backend perspective is actually a creation. I know that sounds weird, but you have a stack of 10, that's one item with a stack of 10. You may bring it's a creation of 9. So that bit is not stable right now. We're trying to improve that.
This is all, I think, relating around the ability to just easily trade things. It's still awful to try and trade stuff with somebody you're with.
It's hard because there's a lot of the chat right now is debating Wicklow at the moment, and
wait, did I say his name?
Well, if I say it 3 times, he shows up on the screen. But a not insignificant part of the dislike for Wicklow is directly related to that freight elevator. It's just we have a section later on. We asked around. We'll get to it. But we'll give you a preview. But we started talking like what is the single greatest quality of life thing that we can do. That we asked. I went around and I asked a couple head honchos here around the company, because I was curious. I did an interview before, like what to you is the single biggest quality of life thing we could do? The single biggest. And on more than one occasion, shout out to Jens. I'm going to spoil it here. Not losing items.
Yeah.
Just not losing items. Just that seemingly simple.
Just like knowing the things you're going to do actually work would make the biggest difference to people. Holy crap. You said this is working. Okay.
Benign, innocent little thing. Like if everything else is important, everything else is super important, everything else is super necessary. It absolutely is. But God is my witness. If we can just make it so people don't lose their items, so
I agree.
Shout out to the heroes of the freight elevator hero squad. I thought it was Strike Squad, but you've rebranded it during this call as Hero Squad, and I like it.
Right.
So we'll do it, and everybody, the people in item recovery, the people in the new inventory, people who are working on the new inventory system right now. It's everybody working to fix that, because that's just the single most demoralizing thing in the world to me.
And it really doesn't feel like it's made a ton of progress since this point. It's kind of hard to say that for sure, though, because I'm not taking exact numbers. It's just the general vibes of things so far don't feel that much better at this point.
Speaking of item recovery.
Yeah.
Vibes is a stupid way to put it. Generally, my trust in putting things down, in storing things in freight elevators and turning things in is still very, very low. So I think, at least from my standpoint, they haven't made a ton of progress on this.
We launched V0 or V1 or whatever the heck we called it, T0. I'm hearing that there's a T1 on the horizon.
Correct.
Talk to me about it.
Well, so obviously Tier 0 was a fairly large change to the game, so that in the case where you die in the verse, instead of having to run a corpse run to recover your items, you would actually respawn with them. This was mainly done to, we're in an alpha game, we needed to do some compromises, so we looked at that. So item imprint,
I think that was one of the biggest things that they did last year in terms of playability. When you talk about 2025 being the year of playability, item recovery Tier 0 felt like one of the biggest parts of that whole push, It's something that's not going to exist for the game long term. It was a very good explanation of what they wanted to do with the feature, how they wanted to get to the final form of a feature, and the path they wanted to take there. And then it was also focused on making sure that the current game rewards players and does better for the players at the moment while still preparing them for the future. I wish they would do everything the way they did item recovery. But they haven't, unfortunately.
Point item imprint, item recovery, Tier 1, entitlements 2.0. Those are all sort of related. So the gist of it is, and this ties into some other subjects, but is that currently when you play the game, right, and you look at your ASOP terminal, I think I've said that last time, but I'll still go through it again. When you look at your ASOP terminal, the list that you see there is the list of entitlements that you own, which ship that you own, you have a right to, right? Then that's cross-linked with the actual ship. Do you have it? This entitlement, let's say it's a Connie, what is it in the game, right? And where is it? And that's how the ASOP terminal shows you the list, right? So that's why you're able to have a row when there's no ship and it says retrieve or deliver, right? That creates the ship. Then deliver brings you the ship on the platform. Those entitlements currently, they don't live across patches. We recreate them. The first time you log in, there's a big process that reconciles your account, grabs your web purchases, grabs your LTP records, and recreates those entitlements. Obviously, long-term persistence has always been it's a difficult problem to solve. It sounds simple, but it is not, I assure you.
You just save it.
In order to facilitate all this and also other item recovery needs, we've decided to basically persist those entitlements across patch. So these things will never get wiped anymore. And so losing a ship is not going to be a thing. That's not going to be technically possible. We never really delete entitlements. And so
all my friends who bought them pit bulls but didn't see them. Jesus, excuse me. My old man coming out. McClinkton, thank you so much for the super chat on YouTube, dude. Rage Citizen 4.8. God, I hate how much I love this game. I had to put that on a freaking shirt. I appreciate you, dude.
You have insurance on those records, so you can claim insurance. The only way to lose a ship will be if you no longer have insurance on it. You still have the deed for it, but you can't claim it. So item recovery is a rework of the entitlement system. It touches on how you claim insurance on ships. It allows snapshotting of ships, but also FPS items, so that these live with an insurance loadout that we can keep and recover. And then will give us the ability to recover or claim your even FPS items. So think of it as an insurance system for FPS items, right? So this whole mechanic ties into LTP as well. We're also hoping through the system to solve some of the issues that exist with, taking components off of a ship, then claiming the ship, losing the components, and or in some cases being able to duplicate some default components. This whole loop is insurance has always been a problem design-wise for how this functions. So item imprint v1 allows you to imprint items, save that state, and then recover it on death or when you claim insurance.
All right,
so let's go back to what I said earlier about how they laid this out, because the way that they originally laid this out is slightly different. If we go back to the original post, item recovery. Come on now. Oh, yeah, this is it. Okay. Sorry, I thought this said item recovery tier 1. So if you look at their original plans for this, this was all really focused on general items. The first step, tier 0, was what we got last year. This would allow everything to respawn on you if you died, except for the stuff that was in your backpack. The next version was tier 1, meant to introduce the ability to register your gear and ships at kiosks or ASOP terminals. Now, as you've noticed, we can only do that with ships so far. You can get back your pledge items, which is something they added in 4.8, I think a week after, but we're still not seeing this necessarily for all items in the game. So it's only kind of a half step. We're not fully at tier 1, but I bet you this is actually a really, really big part of the focus. I'm betting the issues that we're seeing with back-end stuff, like being able to more reliably save stuff, just in general, the issues we're not seeing solved, I'm thinking are probably taking a backseat to them trying to get this imprint system figured out and make it fully functional, because this is a really important part of the game, and the game feels kind of broken if this isn't working. And then after this, they want to get to tier 2 pretty quickly, because right now you can brick stuff in the game, but this is leading to a lot of glitches where things are bricked when they shouldn't be, things are bricked and they could be helpful, but you can't do anything with them. Tier 2 is supposed to allow you to unbrick these items, restore them, and even take them to a fence to get them wiped clean if you stole it. So we're slowly going down this path of ownership and the ability to transfer ownership, which is just so ridiculously important. But as you can tell, it's proving a challenge, and even now, a few months after this, they are still having some trouble with getting this working, and that's why we are seeing stuff like maintenance patches going out.
I have a couple questions here based on
Sure.
what I heard. You keep mentioning insurance. Are you saying that insurance will be in alongside V1, or just, yeah, exactly.
Correct. I say insurance because that's the same kind of loop in terms of what the services are doing to do this, but basically it's a snapshot we recover from.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
So when item recovery V1 comes out, it'll still be much like it is today as far as insurance. Everybody will just have global, everybody has LTI on everything at the moment right now until that very specific gameplay system is implemented. So this is not that.
No.
You're using lowercase I insurance.
Lowercase I, yes.
Sorry, I just needed to, I'm like,
Underscore I.
I didn't think ship insurance was coming in this one.
Yeah.
So just to clarify that before folks go off. You're saying that because it's a change to the entitlement system and everything would just get snapshot and moved over, when you say people will no longer lose ships, you're talking about that whenever a patch comes out, people come in and they're talking about the ships that they've earned in game, the ships they've either bought with AUEC or stolen or whatnot. Those should persist.
If you have an entitlement for something, we no longer wipe that between patches at all. We keep it completely.
Okay.
So that should give us a lot more. In fact, it is exactly the way you would expect it to function right now, except the way the systems were built in the past didn't account for that. And so there was cases where you could lose something that you own because it was left unstowed in a shard or something like that. And so now with the entitlement system, we keep that cross-patch.
So that's what we really need to be seeing right now and testing. After 4.8 with this wipe, now the race is on. How much stuff is actually persisting? How is the stuff you're getting in the game actually transferring between patches with you? Because if that's true, if they've figured this out and things aren't actually slipping out of people's inventories, that's going to be a pretty big deal. I'm not talking about your normal inventory glitches. I'm talking about if you unlocked a ship or something, or you stole a ship and you stored it in your hangar, is it still there in the next patch for you to use?
The first question I have in response to that is, how will people get rid of things? Because quite frankly, I might go joyriding one day, or I might buy a thing for AUEC and fly it, and then decide I don't want it, I don't like it, and now it's just sitting there staring at me in the ASOP. If these things don't go away between patches now, every time I want to try a ship, or I just move away for a ship, or John Crew nerfs the hell out of the ship and I don't want to fly it anymore.
Goddamn John Crew.
I might want to get rid of it. So will there be is there going to be a mechanism for getting rid of these things?
Well, not with item imprint, right? As part of this, no. But there are, I don't want to go too much into details into this, but I can give an example of, like, you have a ship filled with cargo that you stow into your location inventory in New Babbage, and you claim that ship, right? In the current way the system works, that cargo's lost, right? That ship will get deleted and you're done, right? You get a new one, but it's the same entitlement, right? With the new system, we have the ability to also show you ships that you own that had an entitlement on it. And so what that means is you could claim that ship, you'll get a new, let's say it's a Caterpillar filled with cargo, and you're like, I need to claim it for some reason. You can claim the ship. The other ship will be bricked, right? That's how the design is functioning. So it's no longer usable, but you can still retrieve it. You can still retrieve the bricked ship and get it. And then if you destroy the ship or tow it out, then it'll go away from your entitlement. But there's going to be more system, of course, to remove that from your ASOP terminal longer term, but not in this phase, but longer term, yes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the long-term players, the people who have been here for a while, who have acquired a rather massive fleet already, and
I'm a victim of this.
And you start buying ships, and I'm guilty, but there's just sometimes I don't want this anymore. I don't want to look at a Rock DS anymore.
I'm gonna honestly leave it at that because the Rock DS deserves some hate. Let's jump forward to the next one. This is them talking about social apps.
Things.
I had to bring this up.
Yeah.
It's social. I
just want to also go back real quick to I'm okay. So we've gone through the loading screens, right? It was so we had this, and we had This. March, December, February. Could have sworn there was one more. Okay, so these loading screens all talked about a comm system coming online. UEE Intersystem Comm Network hacked. FTL comms breakthrough allowing for real-time intersystem comms. Asiato finishes FTL network upgrades. Engineers have coordinated with key researchers on a project to outfit their entire comm network with the new faster-than-light upgrades. Now, if you've been following Star Citizen's little loading screen posts that they do, these are generally always either talking about the ongoing event or teasing upcoming features and news. Like here, talking about the first responders and the ambulance, or here, talking about the re-terraformation of settled worlds, which ended up turning into what's happening with Nyx 1. All kinds of stuff, yeah? And then you get to these three, where they're talking about these communication networks. And it's like, what? What's going on? What is this? This is, huh? Are they getting ready to do social tools? We were all excited for it, right? And then they released the Tactical Strike Groups event. And interestingly, in the Tactical Strike Groups event, they ask everybody to post their own organizations, right? To get people to have a place to go to play the game. Basically to create a friend finder using the orgs in Star Citizen to be the ones who create the beacons. But I've heard some whispers and murmurs lately, folks. I've heard some whispers and murmurs that this was meant to be a thing. This little party finder, friend finder. That the hopes were, I mean, and I think this is the case too, because just look at the way they were teasing this stuff. They clearly they were headed on the way to some kind of social tools work. And the party finder made so much sense for this stuff. You know, the first fleet battles they ever do. I genuinely think that they had plans to get this out in time and just, it didn't happen. And they've completely dropped this storyline from the loading screens. They just don't, it doesn't even pop up anymore. I think if you go to the most recent in May, Frontier Fighters, no, this is 2055, sorry. February, May, here we go. Yeah, Defense Con, Emancipation Day, Vanduul attacks, the mishandling of turtle yields, racing prodigy hospitalized. Like, there's not a peep about it anymore after March. So my guess is like they ran into some problems and they just decided to scrap it quietly without saying anything. And hopefully we get it sometime later this year, but I genuinely think that they wanted to have these social tools ready to go for the current storylines that they're pumping out. And now back to social we go. That's my soapbox. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Things. It's social.
Yeah.
It's social. The ability to group with people, the ability to communicate with people, the ability not to communicate.
My man Moist Noodle in the chat. Can we get a shout out from Moisty Boy? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hey, check it out. Check it out. Hold on. Look at, I got a picture. I want to show you. I got this picture. It's really blurry. I'm realizing. Okay, here's a clearer one. Look. This is Eddie. He's a jumping spider who has made a home in one of the small corners near one of our windows. He keeps his house kind of dirty. But he likes us and he talks to us. Well, he doesn't talk to us. He moves his arms around when we come and get close to him. And yeah, he's been with us for like 2 months now. And Moist helped me learn a little bit more about how we can help him make his home here and be comfy here. And it's cool. He's a cool little guy. Yeah, little Eddie. Have you been able to feed him? I don't know if he's eaten this stuff necessarily. We're going to try it again coming up here. At first we did, and then we got a little busy, and so we haven't been able to try the worms. But we're going to try that again here shortly and see if it works. We got a little house for him, and we like really, really want to just give him food in that house, but we don't want to trap him in there because he likes to roam the house, our house. But at the same time, we don't want to step on him or something if he's just like walking around on the floor. Sucks. But yeah, it's fun to have him around and see him every morning. Point a webcam at Eddie, give him his own stream. Nah, man, I don't want to lose my whole channel. He'll take over. I can't keep up with that. Hey, Jive Funk. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. All right, back to social tools.
Kate, with people, the ability to just be like, oh, hey, that's a bad person. That's a bad person with bad thoughts and bad intentions, and boop, boop, and kick them into the pit from 300.
Sure.
And whatnot. Never to see or hear from that person again.
Right.
All the tools for joining up. Finally, people have been creating and managing orgs on our website since 2013.
Yeah, 13.
And this is 2026, and those orgs still not in game.
Correct. What are we doing?
We're reenacting a little play because Benoit and I have had this conversation almost verbatim for a little time. I'm just doing the conversation we had in private for you guys right now. So my question, Benoit, friend, person whom chat has dubbed brother, my brother
from another mother.
I just want to say something real quick, by the way, folks. If there's a link or something that you would like me to bring up on stream, there is a channel here on the Discord server. It's called Tomato React Submission. It's at the bottom of the whole server. You can come here, post any links. I have it open so I can easily reference stuff if you guys are like talking about something. A lot easier than posting it in chat, because the bot does not allow the links in chat, just because we didn't want to have people doing phishing.
Mother.
When, Benoit? When, please, dear God in heaven above or down below, who do I have to talk to?
Sure.
Give me something
Good.
for social.
Yeah. Well, so what is it now? It's all a blur. A social universe, right? The last panel that we did at CitizenCon. That outlines the vision of what we want to do with social. Now, with the year that we just had, we had to take a little bit of a detour on that initial plan, but right now we have completely formed the social strike team, and so a bit like the heroes team, right? The social strike team, its only mission is to execute this plan, right? And so,
so don't bury the lead. There is now an official dedicated team on this.
social strike team, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Exactly.
but
And
why
so
not give us
this group,
updates on them?
Is currently looking at all of the components that make up the social systems now, right? Fortunately for us, the work didn't stop on this side, even though we couldn't enact the changes in the game. On the back end side of things, there's been a lot of progress on social. And so even though the systems look primitive in game, their capabilities have grown quite a bit, even in 25. We
Just
do
not using them yet.
So we do have a block list that we leverage now. It's simplistic, but because we didn't have the UI resources to do it completely. But moving into this strike team, right, covers all areas of social. So the plan is to go into 4 different pillars for it. So the first order of business is the Comlink app. So the Comlink app is like one of the oldest mobi-glass application we still have. It's kind of an eyesore because it's like from a dark, ghost of futures past. It's like from 2000, I want to say 1918 at this point, style-wise. Very old technology, still use the legacy even UI framework that we had in the game. So we're completely eliminating that tab. We're bringing in forward the social application that we've shown at CitizenCon, so that design is moving forward. So replacing that, chat widget right? So the entire chat experience in the game, we're completely overhauling this from the top at the moment. So we're right in the process of changing that.
You rock. So this is kind of interesting because we don't really hear about this on monthly reports. Let's go back to the most recent monthly report. It's May. And we'll see the one time that we do hear something. Cyber Sebson, thank you for the super sticker on YouTube. I appreciate you. And P Wolf, thank you for the super chat on YouTube. Much love to you. Does this go towards the new camera? In a way, it does. YouTube doesn't necessarily pay us until the third week of the following month. So technically anything that we make from YouTube right now, I won't see until the end of July. So yeah, the best way to help with the camera is, I don't know if we have that link that pops up on YouTube actually. Actually, we would need to make a chat command for YouTube as well. Mrs. Tomato might be able to put that on there. The best way to do it, though, is the tipping thing on PayPal, and I don't know. I don't think I have a link for that readily available, actually. Oh, yeah, there's the link on Twitch. So if you can just use the link on, yeah, we can copy it over to YouTube, I guess. Okay. So in the May monthly report, they did mention the in-game text communication service that is being worked on by the online technology team for the social chat feature. This is alongside the pipeline for friends, online presence, party viewer, and orgs. But we don't know where exactly it is. We don't hear too much about it, but it is being worked on. That being said, this is 3 months ago, so clearly it's taking a while. Unfortunately. Hello, Leshanes. Welcome in. That needs the love of a UI designer. You don't like the social tools they've shown? You think so much of this project is taking so long, specific to the OG teams not documenting what they've done, leading to many rewrites? I think they've also lost a lot of tech, a lot of knowledge over the years as people left. Maybe not worth communicating anything right now? Possibly. I do think that the monthly report is the best place to say this stuff, though. I am seeing your messages, Lishane. Not sure you want to see you any clearer, really. Maybe a better mustache. Well, the mustache doesn't grow back until the camera gets better. Obviously, Pictish. Good to see you in chat, by the way. How are you doing today? Pictish. Toes. Celt. Not Celt. I know that one. Think about how much time was spent with third-party studios. What do you mean? You mean in terms of making their own UI system or their own text chat system? Warren, holy crap, Millman. 61 months? Bro, what? That's incredible. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that kind of support. We got to start getting ready to pass out some badges for the amazing support, the lengths. We're getting close to, like, I guess maybe 100 months, 75 months. I think 75 months celebration. Y'all are pushing it. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Wear fake glasses and a mustache combo till the new camera comes. Actually, dude, one of the freaking pacifiers we got from Rig sent in a pacifier for the baby boy from the registry that it's got like the little sucky thing and then it's got the mustache on it. It's so funny. It's such a Rig present too. Just perfect. I gotta get one of those for myself though.
And hooking it up to the new systems. revamping things like, social notifications. Currently in our mobile OS, we only have one kind of level of notification, which is like ultra important. So to have a proper social experience, you need to have these like, system updates, system notifications, like someone joins, someone leaves, whatever. Looking at things like combat log and all the stuff that we've looked at in the social universe panel. So we're actively building this now, and that's going to be the first. We don't know. I'm not going to say which patch is going to land in. So our schedule is twofold. There's a content patch schedule and there's a feature schedule. The features need to have leeway because it depends on where they're going to land. But that's going to be the first update to social. Will be Comlink app, right? So rich party information, friend phone tracking, chat app. So we're working on this right now.
That's literally what they said in that monthly report. Or was it? It had online presence, party information, chat app, in-game text chat. I bet they had to take some time and work on something else. I think I also saw that there was some shifting of ships around because devs have to take time off. It's a business. Sometimes people call out sick. Sometimes folks have family emergencies, have to take time away, get on a vacation. You can't be like, oh, people want to see the social tool in the game by May. You can't take a vacation. If the person has time off, they get to take it. That's the unfortunate reality of trying to communicate these things and also trying to run a business that has to fulfill these things at the same time. But that's a problem for management, right? Not us. Yeah, I'm hearing that the maintenance period has been extended 3 hours. So I'm probably not going to be playing today. Looks like there was another message. It doesn't say. But yeah, I guess it's supposed to be going for a little while longer. Here we go. Team has identified additional infrastructure updates to apply, extending maintenance by 3 hours. That's wild. 9 hours of maintenance. It better work. Whatever they're doing, better do what they needed to do.
For a 2026 release?
Yes. I mean,
I think,
like you mentioned.
Honestly, I think the choice is because they want the weekend to be good. They want people to be able to play this weekend. So they're not waiting for Monday. Yeah, they have 700 plus devs. They have close to 900 now, if not more.
It's kind of urgent at this point that we do something there. This will automatically roll into the next. No, keep your dad here. Come on. On the next milestone for the Social Strike team is going to be looking at the party finder mechanic, right? Which basically allows you to advertise your party and then get people to join in. Like, let's say you're looking for a gunner and some FPS guys for your mission, then you can advertise that. If you're looking for friends to go do a specific event, you can do that as well. And so Party Finder, we're hoping, is going to be a way for you to find friends on a given shard really rapidly. Also tie that in with your friendship and your contacts. So that will be we're building on the first release, which will have now friend and foe tracking into that. And so that's going to be super interesting. That's the second system we want to bring in. And then obviously the final... I
think that needed to be here by May.
Not the final. Number 3 of 4, right, is the org system. And so in that space, we're taking the orgs on the website from 2013 and we're moving them completely. Obviously, the technology we used to build that in 2013 are obsolete. They're, it's a really old system. So we're bringing all of this data back into a game service to manage orgs to surface that, obviously, game side. So now have org management screens, have your organization chat in the game, and then actually be able to create your organization from the game as well as surface it outside. So that's like, okay, now orgs are in the game. That's the first.
That's the whole name, and then the org.
That would be amazing. I can't wait for that, because the org, you need a org inventory and an org hanger for sure in this game. You need to be able to put stuff into an inventory that your org members can access whenever they want, or else it's just not going to work. So I can't wait till that comes in. By the way, P Wolf, I see here that you put 50 towards the camera on PayPal. It sent me a notification. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, dude. We're getting there, folks. That's actually, I thought it was going to be weeks before we might be able to do it.
VoIP.
Yeah,
VoIP, if you're doing all this stuff, VoIP.
we're looking at VoIP.
Such an important element.
Sure, it's all part of it.
Graham tells me it's entirely your fault.
Yeah. Graham is, I don't want to say it.
Graham did not say that. He heavily implied it, though.
No.
Graham is more savvy than I am. He knew not to say it outright.
Yeah, that's right. We love him, but he's wrong. No, but okay. So VoIP, we're doing improvements there on the backend side of things. So VoIP is mainly, right now heavily affected by the shard size. So the original design for this was really made for the 100 servers, and so we haven't had a chance to go back there at all. As part of this work, this team is also going to look at the infrastructure for voice transmission, and we're going to try to make it scale to the proper thing. So one element that we're talking about on chat and comms is that we're probably going to be moving away from the server chat. So what the original global 600 player chat, and move into regional chats like a true MMO, so that it's tied to the region that you're
Honestly,
at.
I think you should be able to
multiple
specify, like, I want to be in this star system's chat, I want to be on this planet's chat, I want to be on this moon's chat, or I want to be in this city's chat,
channels for that. And so VoIP will also be affected by that because it also powers proximity chat, and so proximity voice, sorry. So we're looking at voice transmission from the top to bottom. We're changing the whole backend for this to make it scale there.
What do you have against Baron's chat?
Baron's chat was dope.
Baron's chat was. I mean, apparently Baron's chat was so dope we implemented it here and have had it for the last 10 years.
That's right. Correct.
So,
Correct.
sorry.
We're also out of this. There's also some movement on player reporting for bad behavior. So not just blocking, which is something that we have now, but that we want to expand on, but also like player reporting for other players that are, either bad behavior, profanity in chat, things like that. Obviously, we don't at CIG don't have a large, moderation team in game, so we're going to need some automated help there that will come and clean up some of these elements. So we're trying to, really tackle communications, from the top there with that strike team.
All right. We're going to jump forward now to another big point of the year, something that's coming up for us now, actually. LinkedIn top supporters, thank you, Frisch. I will get to that. We're going to get to that once I get to the exploits here. We're going to talk about instancing, because this is a big change to Star Citizen. A lot of people have questions about this. Here's what the CTO had to say about it then, and sort of where we're headed.
How's instancing going?
Very good, actually. We actually had a summit this week about instancing, about getting all of the levels set up to support it. At this point, so maybe I can do a quick recap on what we've discussed on instancing before. So we talked about server meshing, right? So instancing is basically an additional system on top of server meshing, which allows us to take an area of space and give it to a server in the mesh to manage, right? Doesn't matter which one. The geographical, if I want, the spatial position of this thing doesn't matter, right? So for example, when you go to your hangar right now, that is an instance, right? So what we're doing is we're taking this system that manages and we're making a true instance manager with it. So we currently have the backend service completed for this. And so what that provides is the mechanism for creating an instance that is associated with you or your party, and having rules for how many this instance is made for, how many players, enforcing player caps and party caps for that instance, managing the life cycle of the instance. So hey, we want go back to my WoW days. Maybe that's dated now, but like your Molten Core instance lives for 10 days, right? So the instance manager is in charge of doing that. So that system's in place now. And so the teams are currently working at how the entrance to the instance is going to work, right? So, well, we know how it's going to work, but like how it ties into level. So level designers put in, an entranceway.
Right.
At what point are you crossing the boundary? What brings you to the instance? What brings you out? Transport is a requirement for instancing. So just ties into all the discussion we just had. Like transit cannot bring you to an instance, but transport can.
Okay.
So basically we want to power that up there. So you can imagine an area of space that you walk into through a SAS or an elevator or a transit train. And when you come out, you're in the instance, but you don't even see...
You never see the loading screen.
Demarcations, exactly. Now you're inside the instance, you play inside the instance, you can gather items, inventories, whatever, boss fights, etc. And then you can exit through another transit link, and that's it, you're back in the world.
So if we do this right...
To be honest, I think
this-
I'm here for this when it comes to narrative stuff, when it comes to packaged gameplay and the way you want to do things in a more closed group, especially for meeting mission givers. But I'm not crazy about the idea of instance caps. I think that is going to be the most jarring part of what this could mean, and I'm worried about that, but open to seeing how they do it, how they handle it.
Right. You should never be aware that you're doing it. We might have to put some kind of indicator on there because of like raid locks or whatever. We talked about municipal works, and like this. So there might have to be some UI stuff that to tell you to.
Yeah, some screens will show you like, oh, you can't enter this because
But from an experience, we're not. There's no load screen. There's no. Hold on, please wait. We're transferring you to, whatever. Like you see, it's just you're going to go and suddenly the world around you is going to melt away, and you will be in a section of the universe that is dedicated entirely to you and your party.
Exactly, to play it, right? And then, we're also talking about, at the moment, how the instance manager responds to the mission system, because we might want to be able to change what level you're going into when you pass the threshold or things like that. And so, or the access rights, right? So if you think back, man, I keep going back to WoW, this sucks, but whatever. In the good old WoW days, you need to do lower Blackrock Spire. And at some point, someone has a key. That's the requirement that unlocks upper Blackrock Spire. Yeah. Well, we're thinking about mechanics in that vein that allow the mission system to lock or unlock or the access rights to an instance. And so all of this is currently being managed, but it's going really well. Most of the networking capabilities that we needed have been added already. So one of them is that currently, when you go to your instance, the way the server actually tracks that is we put a flag on your character that enables you to stream in your hangar and actually view your hangar when you go there. And we remove that flag when you leave it or when you go elsewhere when the hangar is removed. And so in the code up to now, we only had the ability for a single one of those on your character. So we could only give you access to one instance. But we need to be able to give you access to multiple instances, because we might have areas of transit that cross like one instance to another instance, things like that. We're going a bit deep with this, but at the moment those mechanics are ready, so the networking bit is done. So now we're really about crafting the first experience that we want to do with instancing.
And the first instance content will be Siege of Origin. We announced that.
Redux.
Siege of Origin Redux. Ooh, c'est so France.
Yeah.
That's scheduled to come online. We talked about it during CitizenCon Direct. That's one of the content drops that are scheduled for this year.
Yeah.
Basically everything you should, we've been talking more about a schedule than I probably intended at the beginning of this thing, but everything you saw everything that you saw at CitizenCon Direct last year is scheduled for 2026. So, and we announced at the beginning of the year with the first ISC that we've now moved to a bi-monthly. That's once every 2 months for those who like homonyms. I'm not above recycling a joke. Content thing. So if you know, the first one was in January. We've already stated the second one's in March. The third one will be in May. There's always a patch in May for very important reasons. So
how'd that go this time, huh?
So forth and so forth. So it's one of those things where when you look at the content for CitizenCon Direct, you can sort of start to reverse engineer where things go. I'm not going to tell you. I'm saying you've got the tools. You've got the tools. You can pretty much kind of gather where everything is going to be. And I'd like to see your schedules. And that's just content. That's just the content stuff, because that's really what we talked about at Citizen.
I can tell
all
you,
these
like,
features.
from being with the team this week, working on instancing, everybody's like super stoked. Like it's like the energy is really high on like, oh man, you know how you enter it, how you exit it, what gameplay is going to be in it. There's also a big piece of this, which is like some designers, you know, in this case, can design an experience that is repeatable. Most of the content we've produced this year was, you know, there's a PvE experience for it, but it's fundamentally in a PvP zone. So that is giving them those tools to make something that's fun and repeatable as an experience. And I mean, I just, the energy is really good.
Nope. No, chat's like, Squadron 42, whatever. I ain't talking about Squadron 42.
I could see, I'm not going to lie, I can see the instancing being a huge boon for this game. The folks that they have making missions for Squadron are probably going to be way more comfortable making missions for things they know will be standalone. I'm wondering if they're going to, I guess they're going to focus on this with Siege of Orison first, but I'm wondering if they will even do narrative missions from mission givers being in instance locations. Because then you can literally write stories for everything if you know people will be separated. Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
I made one very plain-spoken, reasonable comment about Squadron 42 the last time we got together, and it got press articles. So I ain't saying nothing. I'm talking about Star Citizen. Star Citizen. Star Citizen.
It's getting real awkward now, though. Not saying anything.
Where we at?
I want to inject something.
Inject.
I want to inject something.
Okay, let's go.
Something we haven't talked about. It came from the chat. It came from the chat. Regional servers.
Yeah.
Regional servers.
All right. From here, I'm actually going to jump into the economy
Thank you for coming in.
exploits, but I
This is your
think it
captain
makes
speaking. Tomato will be with you shortly.
Don't know what I expect with these people. Citizen Spooner, what's up, bro? Welcome in, guys. Welcome to the whole group. Y'all, I promise we don't normally have dolphins like that around here, but we do like animals. We were just talking about spiders with Moist Noodle. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? We're doing a little bit of a dive back to what the CTO of Star Citizen was saying about the stability, the exploits, the stuff that they were kind of working on and hoping to get solved over the next several months. And, you know, just kind of comparing that to where we are right now. It's hit and miss. I'll say that much. But I see that the maintenance has been extended for a few hours, so I think we're going to be doing this for a little while longer. Thanks for bringing the folks in here with you, Spooner. What have you been doing today? I'm sure y'all know who he is, but if you don't, Citizen Spooner's another good guy Star Citizen streamer doing good guy Star Citizen stuff, right? We're totally not criminals going to Grimhex and doing bad things. Nah, never been to prison. You're just like me, upstanding citizens. Give him a follow if maybe you would consider watching his stream, and well, consider watching his stream because he makes good content. I'm pretty sure you stream every day, so you're gonna get reliable stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's better at not dying than me. You think they mentioned for instances it's going to be pretty good? Like the instance leader can tick the open instance, closed instance friend groups. So you think it'll be well accepted? I hope so. I hope so, dude. Only good. Never in prison. Just in Pyro. The maintenance was probably extended so they could unban the exploiters in time for 48.1. Actually, that gives me something to talk about. So we were just talking about this earlier. A little follow-up, folks, on this post that we were talking about with the banned 5K backers account. CIG has responded. Xylo actually came out and responded. Tennyson gave him a tag, and he's here to explain. I'll read it out to you. We spent some additional time reviewing this case. While we generally don't discuss individual account actions publicly, I do want to clarify that this wasn't a case of someone being banned simply for using the issue council. The account had a history of violations, including account penalties, large-scale item duplication, and the use of exploits that allowed FPS weapons to be modified with ship-grade weaponry and used against other players. In most cases, these incidents were not reported through the issue council. That history is what led to the escalation of penalties over time, with multiple suspensions eventually laddering up to a permanent ban. Dude, if they've got the receipts for those multiple suspensions too, that's yikes, bro. CIG coming out being like, okay, hold on, bro. We're gonna write the records real quick. That said, after another review, we've decided that we will lift the ban and convert it to a final warning. We believe in giving people the opportunity to learn from past mistakes, but there won't be room for additional violations going forward. To be absolutely clear, players will not be penalized for reporting issues through the issue council. We rely on those reports every day to help identify, track, and resolve bugs. Please continue using the issue council, keep reporting issues, and if you discover an exploit, report it rather than abuse it. So, how many of you guys watch The Expanse? You know what this feels like to me? This feels like the point where, actually, this is the episode that me and Mrs. Tomato are on right now. We're about to start it, where Drummer gets told by Naomi that the dude Naomi saw was, oh my fuck, dude, holy shit. Bro. I'm sorry. I think that might have been missed because it was just in chat. Gravity Noise just dropped $400 towards the camera. Oh my god, dude. Holy crap, we're about to have a better camera. Gravity, bless your freaking soul, brother. That's crazy. Oh man, we're gonna have a better camera next week. Bro, thank you so much. Thank you guys. I did not think we were gonna get to this goal already like that. That's crazy. I promise we'll never have a camera problem again. I'm gonna knock on wood somewhere just to make sure. What was I saying? Oh, so in The Expanse, Naomi tells Drummer that she caught a dude selling drugs on the ship as they're headed out to the gate, right? Sorry for the spoilers, anybody, if you haven't seen season 3 of The Expanse, plug your ears. Drummer finds the dude who did it, throws him in an airlock, and is like, y'all, I'm gonna this guy's toast. I'm gonna kill him. He's gone. Bye-bye. Getting ready to flush him out before Ashford comes in and does his Ashford thing. And he's like, you know what? We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. And she's like, no, we're gonna do this. And then at the last second, he's like, we're letting him go. Anybody who has done this, throw your drugs into the airlock, and then it's over. This feels like that. This feels like the dude gave this guy a ban. Guy came out, made a big hubbub about it, got everybody gathered around. Like, what are they doing? Why is CIG doing this? And then CIG gets to come back in and be like, oh, you know what? We're not going to ban him. Okay, this is a warning. We already know he's bad, but we're going to give him one more chance. And it's, you know, it's pretty effective. It works as a pretty solid way of being like, hey, we're tracking you much more closely. And we want to try and also look good at the same time. Does it work? I don't know, but at least somebody's not banned. At least people can learn from it, and hopefully CIG is doing a good job of tracking this kind of stuff and staying on top of keeping the game pretty solid. Yeah, thank you. What did he do? I don't know what anybody did, okay? All of this is he said, she said. Not that I'm calling anybody in here a she or a he. I don't know how they identify. This is I said, you said, right? And we all are just an audience to it. What we can learn from it as an audience is potentially CIG is being a lot more careful about tracking people's account activity, and they're willing to make actions on it. And we can also learn that there's really no way to know what the actual truth is unless they start posting screenshots, which they won't, so we'll just let them handle it. But this is just a conclusion on how this went, and hopefully that's an open and shut case. You don't think they should have lifted it? Sounds odd, like he deserved it. This is just an easier. This is an easier, like, take care of everything kind of moment. Oh. I mean, they tell me what he did. What I'm saying is, I'm just telling you what they're saying. They say that he did these things. That's what's being reported. You don't understand why people try. A few years back at SitCon, they showed the player tracking software in action. You can't hide it. Hex. That's the Hex software that I can't show you guys because they took it off the Turbulent website. I wonder if I have a video of it. Maybe I saved the files where they were showing it off. It's all just videos of Grim Hex, of course. This kind of shows it. Whoops, that's Discord. So this is one version of Hex. You can see it's listed here as Hex in the corner. And this is kind of what they use to track things that are going on around the game. Player reputation, player activities, what you're doing in the game. It all gets saved to your profile on this software. But like I said, the parts that actually show player profiles, they are not available to us anymore. It's interesting. Yeah, I only just have like some of this stuff where they were showing off the quantum system. Who knows, man? Either way, interesting story. Definitely brightened up the Friday. Added a little bit of something to talk about, I guess. Let's get back to this report, though. We were talking about the economy exploits.
Economy exploits. Economy exploits. And if you're watching the show and you're wondering why I'm talking about economy exploits, it's because I'm going to get to the next question that you've got, the question you've had the whole time. So,
Yeah,
let's talk about the economy exploits.
sure.
What's happening?
There are exploits.
Be better.
Well, so, in terms of the economy in general, right? There's a couple, I think we're up to 7 or 8 right now. So first of all, we have a strike team on this at the moment, right? Looking at all these different things. There's a couple of ways in which, there's been potentially duping, ways to earn rewards it's not supposed to have.
I think we're beyond potentially.
No, well, yeah.
Okay, fair.
And so we're looking at all these exploit vectors, right, to fix them. Obviously, that needs to be prioritized. The big conversation that was spawned from that is like, we're a game in development, but we're also delivering a live service, right? And so we don't have a framework for this in that internally we don't, when we get exploit reports, we don't necessarily automatically prioritize them. So the conversation that was spawned was like, okay, well, there are going to be exploits, right? Every game has a series of exploits for its entirety.
Maverick just put in a $69 for the camera, and I think somebody else did a 25. Ryan also passed in a 25. We can order the camera. I'm literally going to order the camera. God. Jesus.
It's life, right? No game has no exploits. And so the question is more, how do you respond for it, right? And so historically, exploits have always taken a lower priority to ongoing development, right?
I'm going to jump in. You're 10 switching between past and present here. I want to be clear. You're talking about the past right now.
The past.
He's 10 switching a couple of times. It makes it sound like he's talking about today.
No.
It's like this. We're talking about the past, guys.
So in the past, right, exploits would fall. There'd be bugs like any other, right? Depending on the severity, sometimes they got escalated, but we didn't have a process for this. So now the conversation is about when we do get an exploit report, how do we deal with it? Like, how do we escalate it? How do we respond to it? How do we deal with it, right? And so for the current ongoing exploits that we know about that have a damaging effect on the economy, currently we're dealing with them the same way we've dealt with the other hero strike teams. And so we're looking at each one of them and confirming the fixes, right? Because sometimes, you fix an exploit, there's a second vector right away. So those are complicated fixes sometimes. So we're dealing with these things right away. But the big thing that also this puts in light is that even a minor exploit at the moment has a very large effect on the economy, because there are many limits that are not in place. And so at the moment, we're also looking at overall economy design and limits around, selling, inventory capacity, exchange limits, ongoing active tracking of player trades and or large purchases, things like that. Now we want to make clear that we want the economy to be fun and movable, but we also need some protectionism behind it. And so that's what we're looking at the moment. Now I don't have all the solutions, I didn't write them down or show them out, but this is the spirit that we're in at the moment on these economy exploits.
You're being very diplomatic about something. I want to point out some of the struggle with talking about this.
Yeah.
We can't
tell you how we're going to fix it.
We can't tell you we can't tell people what we're doing.
Yes.
Because every single let's back this up a bit. So an exploit exists. Whatever timeline you want, we'll just make it simple. We'll make it real simple and do days for the point of conversation here. Exploit exists on day 0. On day 1, it comes to our attention. By day 2, we figured out what's causing it. We cause it. On day 3, we could fix it potentially, depending on the severity length. But we don't automatically do that, because there's stuff to be learned by leaving it. In certain cases, we find more information out about who's doing it. We find where it's coming from, about other vectors. We found like any bug. Okay, we found this cause, but sometimes there's 5 other causes for every bug. So you find this cause of an exploit, but maybe there's 4 other causes for that same exploit. And if we patch this one up right now, we may hide the other ones and we won't discover them for much later. And so there's this incredible dance that I get to sit here and watch.
Sure.
I get to sit here and watch you guys do. Occasionally, I speak up with a thing, and you're very kind to humor me here and there from time to time. But I get to watch you and the player experience team and your programmers and everybody involved do this amazing dance of finding these things and researching these things, and working out how they happen. And we can't. It's one of those things, we come here on a show and I want to talk about it. And we were talking about this last night, but we can't go through all the methodologies. No. We can't discuss all the solutions, because then knowledge is power. And if they know what we're doing, then they can run around it. It's this incredible dance that is frustrating, and it can often look like we're sitting on our hands doing absolutely nothing.
That's right.
And
Tola, we passed the goal, bro. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Just pushing us further. I guess an
unfortunate, frustrating side effect of the proper way to do this.
Yeah, well, every time it touches security, anti-cheat, economy, exploits, it falls in that. Yeah. It's going to fall into that area where we can't be as transparent as we'd like to be.
And they're saying it in chat now, and they're not wrong. Like cheats and exploits have sunk so many games. Yeah. We have to get a hold on them. We have to get a handle on them. We have to fix them and whatnot. And again, but it's this dance. You can't always be right away.
Correct.
It can't. At least that's one of the things that alpha affords us. We have to. We take the time to make sure that we do it right. Take the time to make sure we research. Take the time that we're actually finding all the bad
vectors,
actors
yes.
and blah blah blah. It's just at the same time, it's annoying because you want to go to Reddit, you want to go to Spectrum, you want to go to Twitter or whatnot, and just scream, "We're on it, we're doing it," whatever. But you can't tip your hat anything. You can't. It's because every.
Well, I put my eyes emoji sometimes on stuff on Spectrum, just to,
you can't say
checking
we're
this out.
actively chasing this one because then the people are using it scatter and we don't find them. It's like this.
Exactly.
So it's one of the hardest aspects of game development communication, especially for a project like us that prides itself on being as open as we are. You know, people will be like, open development, I can't believe you're not telling us. That doesn't mean it's open. I'm like, open development means we're more open than any other company in the history of the medium. It doesn't mean we share every single thing, every single moment, the minute it comes out. I do sometimes and I get in trouble. But it's really difficult.
It's a difficult balancing act for sure.
It's terrible because there's been so many moments when I want to go out and scream, "We got this! We're on it! We're doing this! It's fixed!" But we just can't. You can't because it makes it harder. It makes it harder to do.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna miss things. That's the main thing.
But
hey,
Here's what I was looking for. Jesus, that took me forever. So he was talking about the exploits, the economy exploits, and I think there was something here they mentioned. Yeah, regarding duplication exploits, this remains an active area of focus for the team. Several fixes have already gone out, and we greatly appreciate everyone continuing to report these issues through the issue council or directly to us. We are actively tracking and working on additional exploit fixes as well. So there are still problems with the exploits, but clearly they felt they were ready to go forward with a wipe for 4.8. So I'm interested in seeing if this does stay under control. Because in this talk, clearly they were telling us we don't want to make a big move until we've definitely plugged these holes, and they said it in the forums too. So the expectation now is that there won't be these kinds of problems, but everything's always changing. New things will be discovered. There's always a chance we'll have to do another wipe sometime soon. Cheats are one of the hardest things to keep out of a game. As long as people earn money with making cheats, they will always exist. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Like, it's a business. It's an active, ongoing. It's just like running a tech company. A tech company constantly has to keep its security up to date because people are constantly trying to break down its system.
Hey, can we flip seats for a second? Because you just
Hold on. Actually, is there anything else here that we really wanted to touch on? How about we listen to them talk about the wipes?
wipe. Wipe.
we were
Benoit.
doing so good.
Wipe. Wipe. I held them off. Wipe.
Right. So okay, we're not planning a wipe. We're planning.
Good night, everybody.
We're planning. We're looking at targeted actions, right? But we're not looking at a wipe for the moment, and so we want to keep on rolling. First of all, there's a lot of some of the work we've discussed. Obviously, I can't share the details of what we're doing, but that needs to be completed. So for now, we're not intending a full blanket wipe at all.
No, this goes back to what we were saying before about the biggest quality of
It's like not quite a full blanket wipe, but it was pretty close.
life. Like all this work going in to long-term persistence and to item recovery V1 and stuff. It's about, and the freight elevator, it's about making sure you keep your stuff.
Yeah.
Making sure you keep your stuff, making sure you keep your stuff, making sure you keep your stuff. So we've got tools, we've got logs, we've got
A lot of logs.
we got a lot of logs. We got a lot of
logs.
information. A lot of information. So it is our intention to do a targeted correction
Correct.
to those areas that
Are
need it,
problematic. Or that need it.
and preserve as much of the gotten gains of the everyday Star Citizen as possible.
Exactly.
So no blanket wipe.
That's right.
Okay.
Cool. So we've answered that. That's done.
Ain't nobody. I mean, sure, it's
Know
done.
about.
All right, Planet
Tell me
Tech.
something. Tell me something we should be excited about that we're not currently excited about. Give us something nobody's expecting.
That's hard. You're putting me on the spot now.
I'm putting you on the spot, Mister. Is the Bowsers are coming?
Okay. Well, one thing we didn't talk about in detail that I could give background info on is Genesis
Okay.
and Nix One, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, we're obviously working on this. That's no surprise to anyone. But the one thing that I'm excited about is that we've kind of conjoined development on 3 separate things in order to.
This is that important thing I was talking about yesterday. Remember when I said that they told us they were going to do this new Genesis thing? But if you look at this video, they split it up into multiple phases, right? You got phase 1, which is Planet Tech V5, phase 2, which is Starchitect, phase 3, which is AI, phase 4, which is light and sound, phase 5 is audio, and phase 6 is dynamic weather. That was supposed to be a lot more dramatic in real time. But you get the idea. It's a whole big suite of things. Genesis is not just what they're doing here this year. So that's why he is saying like there are 2 parts of Genesis they're trying to combine.
About is that we've kind of conjoined development on 3 separate things in order to ship the best Nix experience that we could offer, right? And so obviously Genesis is part of that, and the Planet Tech that's behind it, but also the Starchitect work. And so for those who don't know, Starchitect is a way for us to be smarter about building planets and the human populations that are on them. So settlements, buildings, distro centers, LZs, name it, right? So historically, we've placed that by hand. And so Starchitect is a way for us to give designers control over the planetary scale of how these are distributed. And it's a fairly fundamental change to how the game is made. And the third one is what we call the population control / population manager. So currently you have AIs in the game, right, that are sometimes hand placed, sometimes dynamically spawned. We've talked about
spawn like a
gazillion
crackhead just hitting the
times.
spawn button.
Yeah, which is my biggest pet peeve, by the way.
Apologies to
That's my trigger
crackheads.
point. If you want to trigger me in a meeting, just tell me there's another overspawn issue. But anyway, so population management and control is a third component of this. So I'm excited about this because as we're working towards Nix One, we're aligning all those 3 things into one strike team to deliver that together. So I'm excited about that because those are like 3 major development pieces that Star Citizen needs to scale that we're bringing in together. So for pop control, instead of having all these either hand-placed or dynamically spawned AIs in key areas, that's a system that will basically manage the server capacity of AI agents to be able to distribute them at the right place, but also spawn the right AIs for the right jobs, manage the priority of these spawn requests, all that stuff. And so it's such a much more scalable system that will allow us to really like build up a dense universe than we've had before. So I'm excited about the fact that those 3 projects are part of the same kind of drive at the moment. That's the first thing I would say that you guys don't know about that we're going to bring together. The second one,
I think that's stupidly. This is another thing that, going back to what we talked about, I mentioned PvE servers as an example of things that might be seen as a solution to problems that Star Citizen has just because it hasn't built its actual features. This is one of them. We talk a lot about how the game itself is slow, how people aren't going to want to play it, how they need to change. They need to make it so that you can just teleport or you can just spawn anywhere because it takes too long to get started in the game, or it takes too long. It takes me 40 minutes to run a mission, that kind of thing, right? But if Starchitect works by design, which is, it's saying a lot if it works by design. Just to give you an idea of kind of the way they're talking about it. And you can actually see it already. If you go to Pyro, it's very obvious in Pyro that the system's already working like this. It builds caves next to outposts, and then in places like Stanton, those outposts would then be clustered around distribution centers, and then eventually those distribution centers would be in some proximity to cities. Explain it here.
Go even further out, you'd find mining outposts to funnel those resources to the FOBs. Go out even further, you'd find caves around them, because that's where they might find some of the gems. And then we can even specify the data on a cluster level. All of the factions that live at this whole cluster, any mining outpost, that would be the same people, but also what commodities they sell, to find on what resource you'd find. So let's look at an example of the clusters. We have our mining cluster. Again, we can define what rules we should have. Rules, well, near a resource, just like our mining outpost, but also it needs to be on a lawful planet. We can target on a planetary scale where they would need to be. They need protection. As for the targets, well, caves, mining outposts, but even trade posts. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Before I do so, I forgot data. We can, on a cluster level, specify, again, what mineral commodities, but also what harvestable types you'd find are in that region. Now let's look at the other side of the spectrum, an unlawful cluster. What rules? Well, they need to be far away from any other cluster, because they want to be isolated and do their evil deeds on their own. Just like our locations, we can put clusters near other clusters, and we group them together, ranging between 10 to 15 locations each. And we group this into what we call a sector.
Sorry. So this doesn't happen in the game fully, but it's starting to kind of occur. And I think their next system is meant to fully make this happen, essentially to make more places on planets that you can play the game. So you don't have to spend 40 minutes starting your next mission, flying from the city to the nearest moon. You could just log off on a moon and then stay on that moon for your entire game session, because you could go from the moon over to a mining outpost to deliver something to the nearby people outpost. From there, maybe you have to go to a close by cave and find a missing person, and they have some kind of a story on them that takes you to some other outpost where you have to kill some pirates. It's like a 2-hour session, right? And you don't have to get in your spaceship and fly away for it. And I think that's part of their goal in making the game big enough to feel big, flying a long way. Flying a long way to get to your friend's planet, flying a long way to meet up with your fleet, but ultimately not having to fly a long way to get the content you want. Does it work? I don't know. But I think with Quantum Boost, it'll get better, at least.
I mean, there are some hints of this in the game already. So if, I know some of the techies look into the game client, try to find some stuff. I'm not going to go into more details about this, but, we talked about sim rigs. We talked about, how the experience in the sim rig is. So VR is a great thing if you have a sim rig, right? Obviously, having the headset on is such a more dense experience. We're also working at...
All right, last one. This has been sort of just a review of this at this point, but I think we've touched on a lot of the things that have been problematic, or at least big issues to people in the last few months, and what they were saying on it a few months ago versus, well, how we're feeling now. Here's the last one I wanted to touch on, which is about spawning.
But spawning.
Oh, yeah.
Changes to spawning.
Well, so we talked about spawn in the hangar, right? And so to build spawning hangar, we had to build a new workflow, right? To be able to determine, can we spawn you there? Is there a requirement for you spawning there, right? So the requirement in the case of spawn in hangar is your hangar spawned, right? That's also extended to ships, right? But what we're trying to achieve, now I'm not promising this anywhere, but is spawn in place. And so we're trying to extend that workflow for spawn in place so that, you just log in the game and you spawn where you were. And so that's something that we're passionate about and we're trying to get in there. So
yeah. Log in log
in,
out
bam on it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Not a, you know, you have a bed in a ship. You haven't. You don't have a bed in a
The
ship.
complications that are going to come with that.
You just wherever you are, get out,
Correct.
get back in, come back right there.
Yeah. Surface of a planet, you know, spawn in place.
Yep.
As long as you can still spawn there. Right.
Yep.
There's going to be rules and limitations, but we're looking into that. That is also a big change for the game to me.
Yes.
That's huge.
That's a huge change for the game, man. Like, yeah, that's... I still don't know how this impacts the stretch goal around bed logging. Uh-oh. Oh, the YouTube alert. Oh, thank you. YouTube chat is not getting updated. See, now that's when you can come over here and say I'm ignoring YouTube because the app has done something. All right, that should be working again. What are beds for if not spawning? They want you to get buffs from sleeping in beds. Yeah, they sold beds as basically having bed. They sold ships as being longer distance because they had beds. Like, if you had a fighter that had a bed versus a fighter that didn't have a bed, that told you that the fighter with a bed was meant to be used for much longer periods of time. They can still do that with the buffs. It's more of a soft gate now rather than a hard one, but I think it's just them continuing to casualize the game, or at least to make it more believable compared to what they originally wanted to do. I'm not saying all of their original ideas were good, but they all had something in mind. Game feels so session-based right now, with each session that ends forgetting all your active missions, where you were. Yeah, that's a problem. Why does any fighter have a bed? Because some fighters are meant to be, like, for instance, if you need to go behind enemy lines or something, if you need to go long distance to get into an enemy star system and do some scouting or something, then you need a fighter with a bed. Yeah, there will be buffs for showers and bathroom. That's the hygiene side of it. I'm sure it's just going to be like a hygiene number that gets buffed. But they do have a stretch goal down here. I think it's 15 million maybe or so. 17? 14 million. Here it is. Check this out. This was promised to backers at $14 million raised. Hibernation mode. For the explorers out there, we will add the ability to save and resume while you are out in space. When not in combat, power your ship down, hit the bunk, and exit the game safely until you can resume your journey. So, I guess you could technically say, like, this is the goal, this is the promise, that you'll be able to save and resume while out in space, which, yeah, I guess that's hibernation mode. But the real thing here is, like, the whole hit the bunk. I don't know. It's interesting that they're trying to act like that wasn't a thing before, when it clearly was. When is Alien Week? Probably in like 7-ish days, I would say. But that's about it, really. I just wanted to take this as an opportunity to check back in on what conversation was happening when it came to the tech in the game, the stability of the game. What has CIG said most recently? We haven't gotten another talk with Benoit being the CTO. I think those are the most important, but we probably won't see him again until later on in the year, October, September-ish time. But I hope you got some information from this and learned something about what their thinking is, at least, and can compare to how things are going. Don't we already have that? You can bed log right now. Yeah, not super reliable, but yeah. And that's what people thought was going to be the permanent solution. It was a completely different game in mind at that time. You're right about that. Like, and that's not the thing. Like, I'm cool with them saying that. Like, okay, we got to change this because the game is different. But they kind of gaslight us into not thinking that that was the way things are. This is one of my most often quoted parts of any video from CIG. I know that, like, you guys who are here a lot are probably quite tired of me bringing this up. But, it needs to stay in the record, dude. Look, it's the last time we were looking at this video.
We want your place in the
Is there a change to on what you're
So listen to this question and the answer.
not fitting the vision of what Star Citizen is going to be? Care to elaborate on what you're thinking about doing with bed logging and how logging in and out will look in the future? Is there a change to bed logging? Did I miss something?
I'm not sure what that hot take is, but we're definitely in favor of bed logging. In fact, in the future, we plan to give the player buffs for getting a good night's sleep in bed, and have that be part of the game loop. But we don't want to limit the player to that. It's like having a bed shouldn't be a requirement to log out of the game. In fact, in the future, we want, no matter where you log out, that's where you log back in. You have all the same missions, like we want your place in the universe to be persistent no matter where you log out. So that's where we're going.
So it'll be an option, but not a requirement.
Correct.
Okay.
But like, I mean, it's not crazy that people thought that was the requirement before. You haven't heard of quantum rant? Know how to push my buttons, bro. No, Aries, they didn't keep the ban. They gave a final warning. I think they're getting a PR win out of it. They realize how many people are watching that thread because it made it outside of the Star Citizen community, so they're just saving face, PR win. Although it is kind of interesting if they have all the receipts to not just follow through, but whatever, it's their choice. As long as there's a conclusion. Back in your day, they said if you didn't have a bed, your character would fly themselves back offline to the closest station where you would log in next time. Yeah, I think that was actually in the Death of a Spaceman. Space X-Man? Spaxman? All the way down here. Let's see. Yeah, so basically this. What happens if I disconnect or rage quit? When you disconnect, the server attempts to take you autopilot. If you're in space instance and close enough to a hostile, the server will attempt to gain enough separation to enter autopilot. If it's successful, the server will then place your ship back on the planet you last landed on. If not, and you haven't managed to reconnect to your AI-controlled ship before the hostile destroys your ship, it is assumed you ejected safely and will be returned to the last planet you landed on. That's which I think you're referencing. And I will acknowledge this is at a time when they are saying the whole game was built out of instances. Like you were basically loading from a planet instance into a space instance, and there wouldn't be that many people there. So there's definitely some complications as to how they can take control of ships and move them around, because the game has changed. It's actually a PR arrow to the knee now, as most people want them to get banned. Most people in the Star Citizen community, yes. But I think that they are not taking into account just the Star Citizen community with that decision. He has a history of temp bans for mass duping and hacking in PvP. Listen, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to escape a ban. I'm just saying what I think their thinking is, the way that they're acting. You believe they also said that capital ships would persist after their owner logs, which you're hoping the Odin does. I know the Bengal is always in the game. But man, yeah, I hope all of them do that too. Which ban are we talking about? Somebody somebody made a post saying they got banned for posting a bug. And then the CIG came out and was like, nah, you did a lot more than that. How do you guys feel about all this? Considering, like, looking back now on how they were talking about the stability and the things they wanted to do and kind of priorities in February, how do you think they've done so far? And, like, give me something nuanced, you know? I know things are bad and things are also kind of good. I want to know how you guys think the people who are trying to get this stuff done are doing on getting it done. Not necessarily how bad 4.8 was. We all know that. Abysmal. Ban on someone who spent 5K would be used as a weapon against CIG. They need to take it carefully. It was not an easy choice. Yeah. You're looking forward to instancing? Yeah, Zoster, the banned person was the 5K one. Not very good in your opinion. You lost 2 million in ore just storing your mole. Up until this point, they were doing good, Verum. This point? What do you mean this point? Like today, 4.8. This month. They're definitely doing their best, you feel, Diva? We do have a lot more feature, but they are rushed and poorly implemented, Agent said. Don't worry. That was my editorial mishap. Hard to say. The vision is clear, with fire and engineering taking a back seat. Implemented and maybe not as fulfilled. Doesn't matter how much you spend if you break the rules, you are supposed to get banned. I understand, yeah, people are gonna not like money being taken into account on that decision. Your only gripe is how they're implementing things. You really wish they would... Damn it, I lost it. They'd have more fleshed out features before things got released. Like the tech preview or something, maybe? You don't know that they are focusing on the right things to fix, or more so that they are adding more of things they should wait for other old bug fixes. If you exploit, do not turn in bugs, because CIG might have been watching you in the past. Well, it sounds like he had already gotten... temporarily banned before that, so... Sounds to me like just don't exploit. You appreciate the desire and need to push features, but you do miss last year's actual gameplay where it felt like you could play the game more in general. They're going in the right direction, but 4.8 was a backward step, you feel, especially when you consider there will be an influx around squadron hype. Rushing stuff will cause more negative opinions and be bad for the long term. Yeah, let's see how they handle 4.9. And not, I don't mean like, they might say they're gonna handle it differently, but let's see how that actually releases. We got a month until then. A lot can happen before that. But I'm really hoping that they take something and permanently make some changes to things. Honestly, let's see if the tech freaking preview gets used this month. That might be the biggest teller. Like, they have to use the tech preview to test Siege of Orison with instancing, right? They have to use the tech preview to test Recco Battaglia, right? Nah, it's too late. It's too late. They're at Evocati point. Tech preview should be being used for whatever's coming in 4.10 right now. we are probably expecting Ivacati 4.9 patch in the next 2 weeks. I bet it's by the 19th it comes out. Why do we think so many bugs have not been fixed? You doubt that they are just ignoring them? Do they not fully understand why the bugs are happening? Depends on which bugs. Different bugs for different reasons. Some bugs exist because there are systems that are going to replace them, and they don't want to fix the bugs if the system's going to come and replace it. Some bugs exist because the database seems to really struggle in some ways, and that we don't have a lot of visibility of, so that's probably where I'm most worried. Other bugs come in because they pushed features out too fast. Simple as that. And there are way more people working on Squadron 42 than Star Citizen right now, so when it comes to needing to get all those bugs fixed as those things get pushed, they got to triage, and a lot of them just aren't getting picked up. There's only so many people. The difference between last year and this year is that they stopped releasing new features last year, which a lot of people had asked for. And before that period, what they were trying to do was just put features in just to get them into the game. The idea was that after this year of playability, they would hybridize that system. They would use the feature pushes of the 3.x era they were doing and start to do that again. We saw that with engineering coming in. Now we got crafting. We're seeing things like LAMP as little as it's been implemented being added. Those are the new features coming back in. So they're making progress there, but they are missing the tech preview channel, which was a big part of getting new features in without destabilizing everything. And they're just simply pushing stuff out faster than it needs to go instead of delaying it. It's still working out for them, but it's certainly making the game feel worse. And it's going against kind of the way that they seemed to talk about wanting to do things. Push features too fast? Too fast? Yes. Do you think that they should have released the command module faster? It was definitely not ready to come out. I'm not saying that they are making progress too fast. I'm saying they are pushing features too fast. You'd say most of the community, yourself included, are not testing or reporting bugs? Yeah, absolutely. Most of us are just playing the game. I mean, they're getting load testing from us. Nobody's talking about how TSG has been the best raid/dungeon gameplay they have implemented so far. Not gonna lie, I like Rockbreaker more than TSG. It's pretty solid. I still feel like I haven't gotten to do a full run through, but it is pretty fun. They're pushing features too fast. You know what all these words mean, but you never heard them in that order. Do they actually say any bug fixes are coming out today, or is this really infrastructure updates? I have no idea. I don't know what's... I think there might be a post. I saw people talking about certain things being fixed, like the Sulen, but I didn't actually see anything on Spectrum, so I'm not sure the full breadth of what this might be. Does it seem the players have been pushing for more to be done quicker? And by doing so, has it hampered quality? Nah, the players are still asking for the same stuff. It's the company that's trying to add more. if you look at the roadmap, you can see pretty clearly the difference between 3.x and 4.x. And it's because they didn't want to work on big systems until after server meshing was in. Some of the systems are kind of big, but look at like everything before we started to get things like persistent entity streaming. The gameplay additions are like ship-to-ship refueling, funny enough. Selling items to shops was big. Illegal delivery missions, the Siege of Orison finally dropped in. Wow, that was 3.17. We really didn't get to do this very much before the game struggled. You dropped before that, Gravlev physics rework, Arena Commander map update, loot generation, asset management. This is the freaking first patch where we had an inventory. But like, these were mostly just features to get the game kind of working. Stuff that added into some of the game loops, mainly combat and logistics. After this period though, this sort of 3.18 to 4.0 period, where there was very infrastructure heavy, you can see the gameplay started to turn into more combined stuff. Align and mine, the item recovery additions were a pretty big one. More systems kind of starting to come in. The 4.2, actually not maybe that much. Just the radiation, really. But this was all content, you know? It was stuff that was meant to take player time, give players something to do, run players through missions, things like that. Jump points were pretty cool. But then we get into this year, or rather this new period of time, where they said they were going to start dropping in features, and you can see that like the features they add are 4.6 was kind of light, but they're more systems. They're more kind of sticking their hands into multiple things. Engineering, Vulcan, Wicklow does not fall under that category. Crafting, the full inventory, actually getting fueling systems working not just in these ships but also in hangars. They're like the larger systems that stick their hands into more parts of the game. So not only are they being added the same way that the 3.x features were, which was like not really trying to keep the game all that stable, rather than what they were doing after 4.0, they're also just wide-reaching features that touch a lot of parts of the game, and when they have problems, they affect a lot of people. So I don't think it's necessarily people are asking for more. I think CIG is just pushing harder on more fragile systems, and it's starting to stack up because they're doing it too fast. Yeah, not too fast for us, just too fast for it to be stable. That's my ramblings, though. If you asked me to write a whole dissertation about what this was, I would just be like, because 14 years and $1 billion. It's my professional opinion. One of your least favorite bugs right now is looted ship parts bursting into flames and torching your ship. Dude, that sounds like so much fun. That's what I signed up for. If you raise an elevator full of parts, at least 2 or 3 come up on fire. That's hilarious, dude. The YouTube conversation is hilarious. You don't feel the year of stability worked. They spent more time fixing the monthly content release bugs than they did existing bugs. I would be wary of calling it the year of stability, because I don't think that's what they meant for it to be. I think they genuinely meant what they said. It was just supposed to be a year of playability. They just wanted to get people playing. And that's why I do think that they focus mainly on the stuff that they were pushing out to keep bug fixed. The PU stays in maintenance until Summer Games Fest tonight. We get an announcement today on Squadron 42 and a bonus. Check the launcher. Hey, I'll do you one better. They keep the maintenance down until Summer Games Fest, and then the show opens with an announcement that Squadron 42 is releasing today. And then the launcher comes back up and the game's out. Oh, man. Let that brainworm eat too much of my smart folds. You're so scared about the Raylan not working? Yeah, the Raylan's a risky one. Too many moving parts. YouTube chat's way ahead of Twitch. I think Twitch has a worse delay than YouTube does. You think the speed of patches only comes with the ship sales? If they would just release ships and stop releasing systems for ship sales, we'd be better off with stability. Oh, I mean, I think they can release ships without the updates. I do. I just think those are like, they're just focusing the most eyes, basically. They know most eyes will be hanging out when an update drops. So they release a ship too, so that most of those eyes that are gonna buy will. Summer Games Fest starts in, I think, 4.5 hours or so. And then they announced that CD Projekt Red has purchased CIG. Dude. Oh my god. Just started playing in the last few days. Gangsta Cow. Welcome in, dude. The amount of enemies that spawn after a contract is over is driving you insane. Yeah, they come here and they come in and they're like, ah, you shouldn't have shown up here. You're never gonna get that contract and you've already completed it. Okay, sure, bro. And they're gonna announce that Grok has purchased CIG? What? If the games industry teaches us anything, it's that clean releases don't exist anymore, anywhere. Same old, same old. Hey, Satisfactory had a great release. I think. The more you see how these patches go and the time it takes to get flushed out and running, the more you realize that 1.0 is far off. It is far off. It really is. The last SimCity got SimCity killed. EA got SimCity killed. They could have made a comeback from that SimCity, dude. They really could have. And I genuinely can't believe. How do you kill a city builder? How? How do you manage to kill the quintessential city builder? I guess you don't really have to ask how. We can just watch what's happening to the Sims in real time. You started with Free Fly 2. You got some sticks already. Nice. The game is great, but buggy as hell. Dude, what kind of sticks did you get? I keep trying to poke VKB. We've reached out to them 3 times now to try and get a discount code for you guys if you want to get sticks around these parts, but no. Maybe I need to actually use the sticks. The last SimCity's AI did not have lives as the old SimCity games AI did. They also really messed up the multiplayer aspect of it. Me and my friends tried to make the trade and stuff work in SimCity 4 so much, but it just wasn't effective. Given the state of Star Citizen, there's no way Squadron is ready anytime soon. I wouldn't judge it based on the state of Star Citizen. The Star Citizen is not getting the same sort of treatment as Squadron. Star Citizen suffers because of Squadron. Ursa Minor Flight. Ursa Minor. I don't know that one. Ursa Minor. Wind control? Interesting. Oops. That was stupid of me. I don't think I've heard of this company before. Wind Control 32. These look good. Where did this come from? Who is this? 2019, fairly new company. You can't click on their about page. I'm trying to learn more, y'all. Who are you? Upper bottom tier? Where would you put it in comparison to, say, Thrustmaster? Looks like they've got a lot of parts. Brother, what is this website, man? Do they not have anything to tell you who the business is? That's not a great sign. Just a product page. Better than Thrustmaster? Okay. You've heard the Wing Airbus are the GOAT entry level right now. Interesting. I will keep an eye on this. I hadn't heard of the company. But I like the looks of this stuff. This looks computer generated. So does this. Actually, they all kind of do. It looks like nice tactility though. Guess I'd have to do some international shipping. All right. Thank you for introducing me to this. Wing? Wait. Oh, this is a company Wing. I see. And they just call themselves Wind Control. That's so strange. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your about kind of section. Hey, Anonymous. Always coming through. God, Anonymous is such an MVP around here. You get the new side of the screen. Thank you for the subs, my friend. I appreciate you. Thanks for the support today. Hope you're having a lovely stream. No, I've got VKBs, man. I think now that I realize that the mounts for the VKBs on these chairs aren't going to be here anytime soon, I am going to go ahead and make some space on my desk. We're going to put the VKBs down here, and we're going to get started on my ship skills. Maybe. Because my org is also starting to focus on FPS combat. And like, that's my favorite, so I don't want to miss out on that. So maybe we're about to start a focus on the VKBs next week. We just have to see what the rest of GII is doing. Katana Buck, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. VKB for the win. Yeah, I'm excited to finally use them. It's been too long. Too much talking, too much hype building. Have I heard of the game called Star Sector? Yeah, I heard about that last year. What is the best alien ship? Can I say merchantman? Does that just piss everyone off? You should try a mod with VKBs when you take the springs out and replace them with rubber bands. Rubber bands, interesting. Not sure why Soul R still uses the ball and spring gimbal system. You wish they went with cams and bearings like VKB. Oh, that's surprising that they do. I wouldn't have thought that. Slow mode is on. Oh. Channel's got slow mode on. How do I turn that off? There we go. Sandtalk Guy is pretty cool. Tis, but I don't like the spindly bits. They can move around a lot, at least. A lot of 6 differential movement and all that jazz. That guy just deleted its post from the Star Citizen subreddit and his user vanished as well. I mean, I can't, dude. I don't care what anybody does or does not do. As soon as you become the center of something on the internet, you basically either have to mute it or delete your record of it, because it gets bad, dude. It gets bad. People let emotion control their words too much on the internet, I think. And you gotta sign off sometimes, because even if something has like a fairly civil conclusion, people who follow along will not be civil about it. Did I get the new camera? Not yet. I have to actually go and make sure that I can't have to move the money over from PayPal after the stream. But I will be getting it, and I will be posting it to the Discord. And it should be here next week in time for us to have a fresh, freaking nicely crisp stream. I'm hoping. I got to make sure I can get the right step-up ring for the teleprompter. And I think I need a cam link to connect it to the computer, and then we should probably be good. Can you use Star Citizen pledges as your
What is your
charity?
opinion on the current armor threshold, making only 4 of the weapons really viable?
Not great. I don't know much about it, but it's not great, especially because we're gearing up for some battles, and I'm like, do we just go with the meta? What if they change it by then? You never really know. They probably won't. So yeah, it's not ideal. Teleprompter? Yeah. You guys are inside of a teleprompter right now. That's why I'm always looking at the camera, because I can see chat right there. It's very helpful. Is the extended gameplay for Exodus today? Or is that tomorrow? You got a Sony a7R II for $600 with a lens and a 4K cam link. Facebook Marketplace for the win. Amazing, dude. That's a... wow. Keep an eye out for something like that. Slow-mo shots for nostalgia. We'll be able to get a lot more reaction shots. A lot more emotes of stupid facial expressions. Maintenance is going to be ending in a couple hours. I think it's going to keep going for a little while. Someone peed in your popcorn, news at 11. It's like the worst place to pee. You ever tried chewing on soggy popcorn, let alone popcorn that tastes like pee? I haven't. Just want to make sure you haven't either. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna wrap things up for today. I've got a Raylan video that I'm trying to get finished up for you guys. Hopefully that comes out by Monday, I think. And then what else? Oh, I'm working on a supporter exclusive. Huge apology, any of you who didn't see the post I made on Patreon. May was crazy, and it kind of got away from me, especially with the streamathon going so long. I didn't get to do an exclusive video in May, and I apologize to Twitch supporters, YouTube supporters, Patreon members for that. We are actually working on redoing our Patreon, so anybody who does want to like continue to support, highly suggest if you have a Twitch sub, YouTube membership, anything like that, move it to Patreon. We're going to start to post a lot more behind the scenes there. I am looking into doing more audio narrative readings again to hopefully get that on there. And then we want to start actually posting all the videos there to just be hosted there as no ads, so that anybody who is supporting us could just always watch the videos without ads. But I did kind of make that mistake of not doing that exclusive last month, so we kept the exclusive video that was supposed to come out last month the same, and I've started on this month's. And I'm trying to make it extra good because we missed the last one. This one is actually about how Crytek helped build Star Citizen. It's going to cover the movement of Crytek employees over to CIG in 2014. It's going to cover the lawsuit between Crytek and CIG from 2016 to 2020. And it's going to cover what today is changing in the game, because ultimately it was the folks who built CryEngine who moved over to help build Star Engine. Thank you for your patience. Really sorry about that one. But I hope you enjoy the next one. Waku Boys, thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate you with that Prime sub. OG Deus Ex is an all-time GOAT. Deus Ex is amazing. Warren Spector is awesome. Isn't he working on something actually? Didn't he just like, did he join a studio or started a studio? No? Are they not working on anything? Maybe it was one of the other guys. There were a couple guys who were involved in the original Deus Ex. I feel like one of them is currently working on another immersive sim kind of type game. But yeah, he's a legend. All right. I keep saying it. It's time to log off. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. This was an amazing stream. I'm honestly blown away that we funded this camera. Only a couple streams with a webcam. So thanks for, I guess maybe that's you telling me that the webcam is not the best. I don't know. I know you guys hate the desync though, so I'm glad we finally figured that out. And I'm looking forward to having some not technical issues as we stream going forward. I'm gonna pass you guys all on to another Star Citizen streamer tonight, so you can get some more. Oh wait, nobody's streaming Star Citizen, huh? Nobody's actually playing Star Citizen. Huh. What do I do? Okay. Well, I'm going to pass you all over to Cobra. It's actually been a little while. You have that camera, you'll be fine. Is it a good camera? Does it get good depth of field? Really would love to have better depth of field. Pick a no name and drop 400. Let's see. I don't. Let's see if there's anybody that I recognize. Ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You're gonna find a fairly small time to the clash. Doop-a-doop. What's the camera? The Alpha ZV E10-2. I am out of focus. Well, that's because it's a webcam right now. I'm not using that camera. Depth of field should depend on the settings you use. Oh, I feel like it's the lens, but I don't know how the default lens does. All right. Who this? That's not English. I almost sent you guys to a German stream. My bad. Giveaway days and okay. All right. I can't tell if people are at their stream or not because there's so many Star Citizen streams that are like just screens. How about BAMs? I think I actually saw this profile before. Let me just double check here.
First up.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. Cool. All right, we're gonna raid this guy, Bams. I do not know what he's normally playing, but he's currently in the middle of his own streamathon. He's been online. He's been doing this for quite a while. 2,300 subs. Let's go in there. Let's drop the toes, gang. Let them know who you are. Show them the hype of the Star Citizen community, folks. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks again for helping us pass this goal and get to this camera. The stream is just going to keep going up. We're not going anywhere. We've got plans. We got things coming. I'm really excited for it. We got some talks going on with some companies and some stuff that's, yeah, it's looking fun. So, good news on the way. But thank you guys for making it possible. I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care of yourself. Do something you love. Eat something you love. Hang out with somebody you love. Give somebody a hug. You're great people. You deserve good things. We love y'all. Hope you have a good day. 07s, my friends. See you tomorrow.